Race 2. Let's have a look at the girls now. Shuffle Dancer's the popular way. 20 cents deductions with a couple of key scratchings coming out of this race. But Shuffle Dancer over 55% of turnover. Dominates 310 rock solid on race day. Was terrific winning. Ticky out to 340 as I talk to you. Revolutionary Miss trims. She trims up. Brings that Sydney Group 1.
The Guineas, Group 2, and away they go. Shuffle Dancer slow and then darts back to the end of the field along the inside and got past two of them. Revolutionary Miss began well with Terra Star. Nunthorpe isn't too far away behind them with Moya Lass and Papillon Clubbers working up. Then came a Marty midfield from Razita, a couple of lengths Wallen by Shuffle Dancer. Eternal Flame last. Terra Star took it up for Craig Williams, who's won the race 4 times. As they reach the 1100 metres, led by a length Papillon Club and Neutral Speed, and Revolutionary Misses third. Fourth is Nunthorpe, Moya Lass, a length Razita. Then came a Marty. Next in the field is Wallen by Shuffle Dancer. Eternal Flame is last of all. So the front runner Terra Star, 3/4 of a length to Papillon Club. A length Revolutionary Miss getting a gun run from Nunthorpe. A length away to Moya Lass as they run by the 750 from Razita. A length of Marty. And then came Wallen by Shuffle Dancer and Eternal Flame. Approaching the corner in the CUNY, it's Terra Star, the front runner from Papillon Club. Razita peeled out 3 and 4 deep to stake a claim. Nunthorpe is there in the red jacket, 3 deep as well. So 4 abreast around the bend. Revolutionary Misses behind a wall. They were followed by a Marty. Wallen by down the centre. Shuffle Dancer with about 3 to pick up. Then Eternal Flame. A few hopes. Papillon Club at the 300 metres, led from Nunthorpe. Shuffle Dancer the outside. Revolutionary Miss getting off heels. Crashed into Razita. Papillon Club at the 200 in front of Nunthorpe. Revolutionary Miss is out now. Revolutionary Miss coming out after Papillon Club. Papillon Club joined by Revolutionary Miss, who got up. Revolutionary Miss has nailed Papillon Club, and third Nunthorpe, followed by Shuffle Dancer, Moya Lass, Eternal Flame, Wallenby. Next to complete the course, Raz.
Couple of strides, 1, 7, 10 are going to be your numbers, and the Triple Crown Syndications group very, very happy with the return of their Russian Revolution filly to Melbourne. She's run so well down here. Second in the Caulfield Guineas on a bog track. Great form coming out of the light fingers behind In Secret. We'll see her in the Newmarket later on. She was just off that blanket go of the 4 horses in the surround. Steps up to the mile once again and needed every little. Back to its, I suppose, traditional distance of a mile for the last couple of years, and as it's got bedded down once again at the 1600 metres, it was Revolutionary Miss who brought the form lines out of the light fingers and the surround in Sydney, who was able to be extricated off the fence by Mark Zara to eventually grab victory for the Snowden camp, but there might be a little bit to come out of the race as well.
Yeah, this was a race where they went very, very slowly. It looked like they may go slowly because there was no huge amount of speed on paper. Terra Star led at a speed that, what was it, the first section, thanks to daily sectionals, 14 lengths slower than... Oh, sorry, that was Shuffle Dancer, about 9 lengths slower than average for the field. So Papillon Club sat up second and controlled the race. You'll see part of the track. So she's had to run home in the fastest last 200 metres of the meeting to win the race, so she's done a good job. Have a look at back in the field, the maiden Moya Lass in the blue colours, just getting onto heels now and finishing off back towards the inside. She's done a good job at 200 to 1.
So Mark Zara charged pretty much for the incident at this point here, causing interference to Razita just between the 250 and the 200 metre mark, but in the end able to power on over the top, goes past Nunthorpe, collects Papillon Club right on the line. Opening up, what did you make of the performance of Shuffle Dancer?
Missed the start, which didn't help when they're going that slowly, so she just had to probably do too much work to get into the race, and then it told the last...
The only jockey to win it twice in that stretch. Good size field for the size, the Group 2 for the 2-year-olds, stepping up to the 1400.
Yeah, I wanted to find a way to tip some of these horses like Freak of Nature, Fist of Fury, maybe even Jubinenko, but I'm very concerned about where they're going to get to in the run, and I think V8 can roll forward and make his own luck from the front and be...
Up here in Maur, I'm forgiving him his last start and hoping he can bounce back here because...
Cool 2-year-old size here, all these runners running up to the 1400 metres, and it is open. It smells of an upset, and you're getting plenty of value right down the line in this market here, punters, with the drifting favourite V8 having a good sweat down the neck and on the shoulder. He is at 280 out to $4.50 now. Dubonenko's been relatively rock solid for race day, as well as Gambare.
Stalls are back and racing. Fists of Fury midfield out. Dubonenko goes back to the end. V8 fired out with also Gambari, Sassy Boom. El Sonzo is showing speed also. So a real contest towards the lead. They were followed by the Spirit of Zero, who's dug up to get nice and close fourth on the inside. V8 back to fifth now, is going to perch behind the pace. They were followed by a Maur, a length and a half away. Fist of Fury, there's a fall. Fly ball's gone there. Fly ball's gone in the middle of the pack. Now towards two-thirds down the field, was brought down. We'll get back to it later in the straight. 400 metres to go. Sassy Boom, El Sonzo move up and take the lead with a Maur. V8's trying to extricate off their back, about to do that from Fists of Fury. It's a Maur on the outside taking the lead. V8 gets out and Apulia down the outside. V8 lets down. 100 metres to go. Takes the lead. Surges clear. Two legs Apulia. V8, what a nice winner. V8 wins for Apulia, a Maur, Fists of Fury. Tom Kitten in fifth place. They were followed next in the field by Freak of Nature, and then came Gambari, El Sonzo, the Spirit of Zero. Well back Porta Rosa, Sassy Boom, and two riderless horses coming down the straight. They are numbers 10 and 11. Fly Ball, who fell, and obviously Dubonenko has been brought down in that.
Wait for updates on Jamie Carr and Craig Williams respectively, but there might not be a better named horse than V8 getting around at the moment. 2 for 2, both of them in spectacular fashion, as Damien Lane was able to extricate this horse, who was a early purchase of Magic Millions Gold Coast National wheeling buy out of a Yulong draft for $100,000, and then fetched $220,000 of the English Classics. V8 took his talents to Flemington yesterday and once again put a bit of a space on his fellow two-year-olds with a very good victory in the size produce. We pick up, of course, the replay of the race. You can see there in the background one of the riderless horses post the fall, Ben.
Yes, so this race didn't look like there was a lot of speed on paper at all, and in the end they've run along with quite a genuine speed. Gambare went forward. There was Sassy Boom as well on pace, and Amour, he was the first to hit the front. He ran a much improved race up to 1,400 metres. I think that's what he'd been looking for. Apulia with the blinkers on up to 1,400 was much better, but V8 just in behind the pace, had to wait for a run. I like the fact that he added another string to his bow on debut. He controlled it from up on speed and sprinted away, and then yesterday he took a sit and was so strong late. He looks a bit of a raw talent. He's not the finished product in the mounting yard, according to Jane Ivel, but there's a lot of talent there. So he's going to be a really interesting horse heading to Sydney for a race like the size produce, and be interesting to see how he measures up.
And a winner for Grunt in sort of his first crop of runners.
Huge result for Yulong Stud to get a two-year-old group winner. But the manner of the victory was impressive. It might have been against the B graders, but it just looked like a really impressive victory to me.
And also
6 through the week, then 26 into 18 on race day. Always a great race. I wish I win. Head.
One in this year's edition is Private Eye. He smashed the clock fresh here in the Gugai back in October. Second in the Everest. He then won the Nature Strip Stakes. He was pushed out to a mile in the Champions Mile.
It was a huge win in fast time at this track and distance. First up, last preparation, had 60 kilos. He can carry weight. He's trialled really well. All three sprint performances last preparation before a forgivable run at the end of the preparation at a mile were outstanding. I think he's one of the better winning champions.
Wish I Win. Luke Nolan and Peter Moody have already won this race together on 2 occasions. He closed like a jet in the Black Caviar Lightning.
It was a huge return, a stunning return there in the Black Caviar Lightning. Fastest last 800, 600, 400 and 200 of the meeting. I think he looks even better suited, or far better suited, up to 1,200 metres. He's just a very...
In secret, Dean Holland replaces Jamie Carr, won the light fingers, then a blanket finish for third in the surround.
Following a same preparation as what she did in the spring to win the Coolmore, going to 1,400 metres on that occasion when she was narrowly beaten in her Golden Rose, dropped back to the 12 and she was effective there. So that seems to be the way that James Cummings has prepared her. She likes Flemington, she's a Group 1 winner, and she gets in very light here.
50th edition of the Yulong Stud Newmarket Handicap. On paper, it looks to be a beauty with 16 runners. Benescari, a hard race to separate. Where do you land?
This might be the best Newmarket we've seen since Haley Speed buffering, and like in that race where a bit of class came to the fore with the classier runners here up in the weights. I Wish I Win was just stunning first up over 1,000.
As well, I'm with 3 and 1. I Wish I Win and Private Eye. I think they're the two class sprinters, and I'm hoping they'll show it shortly.
I'm with I Wish I Win. I think I've been with him just about every time he stepped out at the races. I love this horse. He's got X factor and he just ticks all.
We opened up at $3.90 and your favourite in I Wish I Win. Geez, he got out to $5.50 at one stage, being replaced by In Secret, but he's back into favouritism. Clear-cut favouritism. $4.50 your favourite on race day. And a good push late for I Wish I Win, Luke Nolan, Team Moody. There you go, In Secret. Geez, you're getting a better price. Look at that $4.60 out to $6.50. Dean Yendall in the saddle now. Private Eye, can he win with the 58 kilos? He trims up to $7.50.
Ready. And they're racing. In Secret away only fairly. Front page began well, showing Speed Baller on the outside. And also Marzu in the red jacket out very deep on the course. Led the field with the Astrologist. Over on the inside, Snapper is the leader from front page. Rockin' Horse, Ballanipatina. Swats, that's in the next line from Chain of Lightning, Star Patrol. Then came Private Eye. In Secret's third last in that pack over on the flat side rail from Buena Noches, and also September Run. Coming virtually up the outside, the Astrologist led Marzu, and then Lofty Strike Baller, and I Wish I Win is last in that group of five coming up the outside onto the course proper. 500 metres to go. Snapper led from in second. Rockin' Horse front page. In Secret's only two off the lead. Private Eye back to the inside with Ballanipatina. Coming up the outskirts, the Astrologist, Marzu, and I Wish I Win is the widest. Plenty of hopes. In Secret took the front. 250 metres to go from front page. Private Eye, then I Wish I Win the outside. In Secret the leader. 100 metres to go. Lofty Strike is flashing down the outside, but it's the filly. In Secret holding on. In Secret won the Newmarket. In Secret from Lofty Strike and I Wish I Win. They were followed by Private Eye or Marzu from Buena Noches, the Astrologist front page. Back behind them, Chain of Lightning, Rockin' Horse, September Run. A gap Ballanipatina, Swats, that Star Patrol Baller, and Snapper was one of the last.
A 40th Group 1 for James Cummings. It comes with a pickup rider, Dean Holland replacing the injured Jamie Carr on this flying filly In Secret. It's going to be 15, 9 and 3. The 3-year-olds have Quinella the race. Lofty Strike runs so gallantly again into a placing, and I Wish I Win, who was perhaps looking for a toe-in from someone on the outside rail, was the best of the older horses running on into third. But it's a 3-year-old filly, once again, like Miss Penny Money, Alingi and Sunlight in the 21st century. In Secret wins the 150th Newmarket.
Take a bow, Dean Holland. It's not the circumstances that you want to pick up a ride like that, but he has just handled the occasion with aplomb. And what a moment. But the 3-year-old down in the weight speeds, E1 for the old weight pull.
And it just shows the highs and lows of racing. Jamie Carr had the ride on In Secret. Unfortunately, she's had the nasty fall earlier, taken to Royal Mill.
Updates on them through the course of the show, but Dean Holland, being one of the few riders on course, being able to take the ride at 51.5 kilos on In Secret, executed things to a T on the filly.
Yeah, so what we first had is really high pressure here. So Snapper's run along first section about 6 lengths, thanks to dailysectionals.com.au, about 6 lengths faster than average. So that is quick speed, and it's become a genuine test of over 1,200 metres. And have a look at In Secret here in the early stages. So she's got Star Patrol keeping her very tight, Chain of Lightning there in front. So I think this is where Dean Holland, will speak to him and he'll be able to tell us about it, might win the race. He gets off across those heels, follows front page through, and then with his 51.5 kilos, pushes the button early enough that he's got the likes of Private Eye, I Wish I Win and Lofty Strike chasing, and with plenty of ground to make up, and she was just phenomenal to the line.
250 metres to go from front page. Private Eye, then I Wish I Win the outside. In Secret the leader, 100 metres to go. Lofty Strike is flashing down the outside, but it's the filly. In Secret holding on. In Secret won the Newmarket. In Secret from
the 3-year-olds Quinella in the race. So I imagine both Michael and Mike, you found a television somewhere at Rose Hill to take it in. What were the perspectives from your view on the race?
Awesome win. She was dominant, of course, bred by Rap's very own Michael Christian, in conjunction with Sedge No Stud. She was bought for $900,000.
She just loves the straight, doesn't she? I mean, her win in the Coolmore was dominant. I thought her first couple of runs this preparation have been just fair. She's developing this tendency of just missing the starter touch. So full credit to Dean yesterday when she did, probably missed at a neck or a half length, but he wasn't flustered. He was happy just to sit back sort of third or fourth last. He knew that there was a genuine tempo, but I thought the winning...
As we all do, there was a bit of silence after there was that heavy fall, and that didn't really cross my... I wasn't right up front page's backside, but I had him in sight, and I had a really good bunny, so I elected to give myself a bit more room and go back to the inside on front page's back, and from then on everything just opened up, and it was as smooth as you could ever hope for. So I was saying to a couple of the boys yesterday, it's weird riding such a good horse where all you can do is literally sit and point, and the gaps just seem to open on good horses like that.
So do you feel nervous when you're given a ride like In Secret, an hour and a half out? Do you just grab it and say this is just an enormous opportunity, or is there...
So that's shaping to be in 3 weeks' time with the clash between what looks to be right now the heir apparents, 3-year-old wise, Giga Kick and In Secret. But let's chat about some of the horses in behind. Lofty Strike, the Group 1 is there for that horse at some stage. It's just a matter of the right day landing for him. He's been beaten by a couple of good ones in Oakley Plates and now Newmarkets. And what do you make of the performance of I Wish I Win, who's left of screen there in that group of 5 that went to the outside fence?
Yeah, well, thanks for Daily Sectionals. He did run the fastest last 800 of the day, I Wish I Win, but I think given how quickly they went, maybe it just dragged that real sprint out of him that we saw in the Lightning first up. Not sure. I think the winner was just too good. Lofty Strike was terrific again. Just text Julius Sandu. He said the horses come through it well, and he's going to press on to the TJ Smith as well. So why not? He's going so well at the moment. I Wish I Win was good. He maybe just had a bit too much to do. I thought front page ran terrifically well. He might have finished in 8th position, but given the pressure and how strong the race was, Buenos Noches put up with a slight issue. The Astrologist wasn't beaten far at all. He finished just alongside Marzu there, and they're heading to the El Quaz Sprint with him, and he's finished 6th there. I think his 6th placing in this year's Newmarket was probably better performance than his 2nd placing 12 months ago. Such was the strength of the race this year. So he's done a good job. But Private Eye was okay. He looked in trouble a long way out and then battled on back to the inside. But, I'm going to have to preface it by saying I put my hand up and say I got it completely wrong. I thought the filly was very much under the odds and that, I wasn't as sure she was going as well as the spring. I wasn't as sure as her Coolmore performance in the spring was going to be good enough to win the Newmarket. Well, actually, the Coolmore performance wouldn't have been good enough to win it. They've gone that well, but she's just run a complete new career peak, and she's just a very, very good sprinter.
What did you make of that?
Now well and truly on the way out. It opened today at $3.40, now gets out to $3.80. So if your favourite backer, that might be of some appeal. Now, you won't get a better price with any other online bookmaker than Tab for Shinzo. It's on the second line of betting, $4.60, now into $4.40. Zolfwikar, well, it firms too. $6.50 it was this morning.
Here we go. Pago, a slot into the slipper up for grabs.
To be confirmed here. Ready to go.
Clear. Go again.
Harbour restless. Very restless, barrier 1.
Clear.
Settled now, and they're racing. Gusto Sissimo missed the kick along with Adana, and Zulfikar jumped well together with Introducing, and bases loaded pushing through the middle. Mahaba goes straight to 4th, then Bolden Blaze and Limburg improving. Further back to Gusto Sissimo trying to get up on the inside of Adana. Godzilla taken back, and Shinzo's going to settle a clear last. So Introducing holds the front from Zulfikar. Bases loaded taken hold of there and resenting it. Getting a bit keyed, fired up on the outside of Mahaba. Still firing up bases loaded. 2 after Bolden Blazon from Gusto Sissimo, then Limburg. Shinzo pulling 3 wide, followed by Adana, and Godzilla still last of all. So Introducing leads coming around the turn from Zulfikar, and bases loaded. When Restrained has been very keen in the run. Mahaba back on the inside, 4th. Gusto Sissimo trying to pull out. Shinzo letting down with a lot of authority today. Introducing at the 250 shows the way, starting to wander. Shinzo moves up the outside. Mahaba the inside. Then bases loaded. It's Shinzo moving up to take the lead. Shinzo gets the upper hand from Mahaba and introducing. Oh, much sharper today, Shinzo. And off to the slipper for Shinzo. Went on to beat Mahaba. Battle for third there between the stablemates. Introducing and bases loaded. Not sure. Further back to Godzilla making late headway from Gusto Sissimo. Then Zulfikar. And a gap back to Bold and Blazon from Adana and Limburg.
As Darren said, Lizzie, give him a bit of room. And what about James McDonald there? Coolmore and Sir Peter Vella and those types of people into a golden slipper, let alone Chris Waller. He's done them a big favour, hasn't he?
He absolutely has, Bruce. And of course, now they have 2 live chances in a golden slipper. They've got Learning to Fly in the fillies section. And of course, they've got Shinzo now as their #1 colt going into a golden slipper. And not only that, the slipper picture has really developed into a, Godolphin Coolmore contest.
The Blue Bloods are coming to the fore, aren't they? So this colt by Schnitzel out of Sama ready. So both Mum and Dad Bruce, absolute flying machines. And the result is Shinzo.
He came down the outside, as you heard from Darren Flindell, gave him the room that he needed to wind up into
City. So let's have a look at your market up on your screen. Steel City opened at $2.90, did touch $3.20, but back into $3 late. There's been a nibble at longer odds for Remedies for Tim Clark, as much as $8 for the early shoppers, into $6 back out to $6.50. There's been a couple at longer odds too. August Bloom, $18 into $16, and also Untouchable.
Night Stakes, the favourite, drawn the fence here, Steel City. Very heavily backed. They're ready to go. And they're racing. Steel City's jumped at OK off the inside. Remedies jumped well to get the Untouchable Legend, and now Steel City's going to use the inside draw to hold out Remedies. And Untouchable Legends caught 3 wide again. They're followed then by Taquison Tutsa quickly up on the outside of Shine Your Light. Fire Lane back to 6. Then Hell Bent on You from Bianco Nero. Deeper out is Camilla. Further back to Pretty Row. Blanc de Blanc second last, and 2 lengths away to August Bloom. The favourite Steel City holds the front. Untouchable Legend got to a clear second now in advance of Shine Your Light and Remedies. Further back to Fire Lane on the outside of Taquison Tutsa. Further back then to Hell Bent on You. Deeper out is Camilla from Bianco Nero. Blanc de Blanc, Pretty Row. August Bloom as they straighten up. Steel City being nursed in the lead by 2 and Untouchable Legend, followed by Shine Your Light. Remedies running on, and a gap back to the rest, but Steel City going boldly inside the 250 from Untouchable Legend. Then Remedies. Blanc de Blanc making steady headway now, and then came August Bloom, but Steel City's getting stronger, and the filly ripping away for a big win in the Magic Night. Steel City trounces them. Blanc de Blanc second. August Bloom got up for third in front of Remedies. Then Shine Your Light, Hellbent on You, Untouchable Legend. Taquison Tutsa was next, followed in by Bianco Nero. Then came Pretty Row, and a gap back to Camilla and Fire Lane.
Well, if we had the market shaken up a bit by Shinzo, I reckon we've had it shaken up even more by that performance. And what I've loved, Lizzie, that was a really big ride for Regan Bayliss. Richo mentioned it earlier. Big pressure to deliver, and he said, no, I'm going to lead
this filly, and he was able to execute that ride absolutely perfectly. She deserved that victory, and I'm sure Kira Maur will be...
The final lead-ups ahead of next week's Golden Slipper. First of all, the Pago, and after placings in the Canterbury and the Skyline, Shinzo collects a victory here. Chris Waller and James McDonald, a horse you've got a good handle on, Junior.
Obviously, Mick Price trained Sama Reddy. She was a superstar, unbeaten, winning the Blue Diamond, then won a Moya at 3. And interestingly, this horse was bought in utero, so 1.8 million Coolmore paid for the mare in foal to the Shinzo. A big win yesterday because they went slow and he came from back on a day it was hard to make ground and absolutely smashed them.
Mahaba, the Talender winner, was back there in second. Steel City finally breaks through for a victory in the Magic Night. Yet a dog in the fight, Summer, and Blanc de Blanc.
Yeah, she's just drawing wide each of her runs, and it was difficult to make ground, but Steel City was far too good for us yesterday. This is a horse who probably should have won the Blue Diamond with even luck in running, but that question will never be answered. But she showed her best form yesterday, and she won comfortably. Blanc de Blanc, when she draws a gate, she'll win a good race. But the fillies ran about half a second faster than the colts yesterday. So interesting going into the slipper whether those horses that got in courtesy of the exemption can back up within a week and be competitive.
Your bypass.
OK, Bruce. We've got a group race behind us about not too far away. It's named in honour of the iconic one, Farlap. Why?
Afternoon. So Zougotcha best backed with Tab. Let's have a look at the market here. $1.55 it was this morning. Got out to $1.65. Now back into $1.60. Madam Pomrey's got the Wizard Willie Pike aboard. Little easy. $6.50 out to $8 here. Richo firms for a.
Off and racing now. Cut and a Dome was last out of the gates, and Zougotcha jumped sharply together with the grey Glitter Silver. Daytona was away well, pushing through the middle as Glitter Silver looks for the lead now from Daytona. Zougotcha's going to settle third from Awesome John. A lot more love, pretty handy. Now Fire Burns in no man's land out deep, trying to find a better position. Brosnan just taken back a little bit, one off the fence in advance of Cut and a Dome as they travel up into the first turn, and Glitter Silver shows the way. Madam Pomrey's back second last. 1,000 metres out, Glitter Silver on top. Now Fireburn got across to second on the outside at Daytona, is firing up a bit. Favourite fourth, Zougotcha. Then Awesome John, a lot more love, and Brosnan's caught 3 wide at the 800 metres and trying to creep a little bit closer. And the last 2, Cut and a Dime on the inside of Madam Pomrey. So it's Glitter Silver, a clear-cut leader, out by 2 on Fireburn in a much more prominent role today, just in front of Daytona. Zougotcha given every hope fourth, followed by Brosnan on a wide path, given a vigorous ride by Mickey D as they turn. Awesome John's flat out, and Madam Pomrey still second last, but travelling, getting to the outside. Glitter Silver at the 350, a length and a half. Fireburn. Now Zougotcha's given the cue, roping them in quickly. They beat off Daytona, and 3 for the back to Madam Pomrey. Zougotcha moved up at the 175 to take the lead from Glitter Silver, and then came Fireburn, Brosnan, but Zougotcha's edging clear with the Farlap, and Zougotcha won it by a length to Glitter Silver. Boy, Brosnan's been brave in third, wide all of the way, finishing in front of Awesome John, Fireburner and Daytona. Then Cut and a Dome, a lot more love. Madam Pomrey, she stopped pretty sharply inside the last 50 and has actually finished third last.
So a tale of 2 horses for Chris Waller there. It was an easy watch. I mean, she didn't win by a big space. 2 and 3 were really good runs. Glitter Silver coming from that Melbourne form, and Brosnan, certainly you feel like there's a good race in him. But Lizzie, she's just high quality. We know that. Is it Doncaster? I reckon that's the way they'll go with her.
Yeah, that's probably the way that they will go with her, and that's usually sort of the trodden path that Chris Waller has executed when he's run these fillies in a race like the Farlap. What's so wonderful
in the Farlap, this is Zougotcha. Of course, she's been running around in some of the better Sydney fillies races like this around in the lead up to this preparation. She was a winner of a Silver Shadow. This is her fifth victory in 8 career starts to go alongside what she did back in the spring, of course, winning both the T-Rose and the Flight Stakes. Glint of Silver, who we saw down here in Victoria a little bit earlier in the Festival of Racing, into second, and then Brosnan, who's run on well in a couple of his races so far this preparation, getting home for third. So no in secret, and perhaps none of those other better fillies that were in that blanket finish, of course, in the surround, and it was all Zougotcha.
Yeah, it was all late and speed there. You know, they didn't go overly quickly, and she's ran home in some big closing splits, and they went for the easier option, and it was almost, you know, I think it was second only to the Coolmore's option, and it was almost, you know, I think it was second only to the Coolmore's, thanks to dailysectionals.com.au in terms of the ranking on the day, that race. But given they didn't go hard early, I thought there was a lot of merit to it. So, yeah, it surprised me how well she's gone there, and she's got to be right in the mix in some big features. I don't know if that's something about...
6-time Group 1 winning mare Emancipation carried 60 kilos in 1984, a feat twice matched by Hall of Famer Sunline in 2000 and 2002.
Sunline, she does it again. She wins a second Coolmore and $9 million. She's top in prize money.
So there you have some of the history of this great race. Katie knows a lot, doesn't she? There's the trophy to go with the 600.
See her running a really cheeky race.
And Maur Eustace, I guess their second stringer, Richo, here.
With 51 kilos, pride of Jenny for the Atobra family. So there we go. They're the... So Anavisto at the moment at $5.50, Hinge at $6.50, Ruthless Dame and Espiona in the market, Hope in Your Heart at $9.50, the only runner else under double figures. Big price for the others, International Purple Pay, $31.
The Group 1 Coolmore Classic, and they're off. Now, Expat misanticipated the start and as a result was last out. Anavisto began very hastily from the outside draw. Nash is trying to get over and lead, but Pride of Jenny's quickly bursting through on the inside. And right up there as well is Torregine. So Pride of Jenny holds the front from Anavisto. Torregine goes to third. Expat recovers to fourth, followed by Purple Pay, and then came Mirror Vision. A couple of lengths in the field, then to She's Belter is about midfield. In advance there of Espiona. 2 lengths away to Hope in Your Heart on the outside of Yearning. Ruthless Dame gets well back with Mustang Valley. Hinged as second last, and More Profit sees them all. They're strung out over plenty of yardage at the 800 metres. And Pride of Jenny leads by 2 lengths on Anavisto. Torregine parks on the outside of Expat. Further back to Purple Pay, well positioned on the outside of Mirror Vision. A length and a half then to She's a Belter. Just clear from Espiona. Then came Hope in Your Heart. Further back to Yearning on the fence from Ruthless Dame. Mustang Valley. Hinge revved up second last, and More Profits as they swing. Pride of Jenny with a good lead into the straight. Anavisto's gone. Pride of Jenny got 4 lengths in front from Expat. Espiona up the inside. Yearning up the inside. On the outside, it's She's a Belter starting to cut loose. Pride of Jenny's all out, and She's a Belter is belting home, and here's Espiona going up the inside. Espiona the fence from Pride of Jenny and She's a Belter. 3 of them in it now. Espiona, She's a Belter, Pride of Jenny. Espiona wins the Group 1. Espiona a nose on the line to Pride of Jenny, who was game in defeat. She's a Belter third. They gap the rest. Yearning together with Mirror Vision, Hope in Your Heart, Mustang Valley, Hinge making some headway, followed by More Profits, Ruthless Dame, Torregine, Purple Pay from Expat, and Anavisto's pulled up very, very short.
Well, that's bad luck for Anavisto. What a performance. I mean, Espiona, we talked about the fact that Victoria seemed to be her place. Chris Waller talked about it on radio today. He said, I've just got to go to this race. It's her home track and all of that. Mickey D's won a Caulfield Cup and a Derby with Chris so far this year. He's going to have 5 Group 1s to his name, second only to J Mac and all. Yes, 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 she has one. So, Lizzie, she's climbed the mountain that we all thought she would have climbed maybe earlier than this after that incredible run on Oaks Day a year and a half ago.
Yeah, Bruce, she has now got that Group 1 victory to her name. And I would say well, she has duly saluted for you. A really strong performance, a masterstroke from Chris Waller, and he's alongside Emma Freedman.
A big help to her, and then to come back to Sydney and now get that Group 1, very satisfying for you, and another very supportive owner as well.
Yeah, that's right, with Denise Martin, Star Thoroughbreds.
Mares over the 1,500 metres, and it was Espiona breaking through. Michael D on a complete tear this season. He's just winning Group 1s for fun at the moment, got the job done back towards the inside, sneaking past Pride of Jenny, who our intrepid producer Matt Tenace tells me he was on at $41, but did have an each-way bet, thankfully. She's a Belter is going to back up into the All-Star Mile. She's closing there late on the outside into third. Anavisto targeted this race. Michael, an outside draw. There was a bit of a task for Nashawilla. Talk us through how it unfolded.
Well, simply she's pulled up lame. She was lame after the race, and that's not her. She's the soundest mare in our stable. So hoping she's okay this morning, but combination of and... not at her best, clearly, but what you didn't see on that vision was how fast they went early. They went nearly 33 seconds the first 600. I mean, absolutely.
From a standing start.
Flew and adds merit to Pride of Jenny's second. I mean, she set the tempo. So you didn't want to be too far back. You didn't want to be on top of the speed. Yeah, Waller's too good. He scratched Zougotcha and still won the race anyway.
And scratched Espiona from Melbourne to run in the Coolmore as well.
Yeah, it was a terrific placement from Chris Waller because he had Fangirl nominated for the race as well. I thought it would have been really hard to beat in that race, and then of course Zougotcha drew wide, so he won the Farlap with Zougotcha, wins the Coolmore with with Espiona as well, and now Fangirl of course takes on Anamoe in the rider, but yeah, too strong Chris Waller. He won them both anyway.
Can She's a Belt?
Easy task.
Pride of Jenny was incredibly brave, setting that blistering tempo. She was entitled to drop out at the 200, but on the line she was coming again at Espiona. You know, that was a phenomenal run. I mean, Kieran was Pride of Jenny.
And the winner gets a Group 1 that I think everybody has been expecting ever since she did what she did on Oaks Day 2021.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, there's been a lot of talk that maybe Melbourne's the key. I just think dry ground's the key to her. Dry ground, she doesn't like wet track. She got the dry ground yesterday and it was weighted well, and she's just a very good mare.
Stream choice again.
Out we go for the Ajax Stakes, a Group 2 race over 1,500 metres.
The last 30 seconds, we've had 3 different favourites. First, it was Waterford, then it was Ascension, now it's Sabak. So let's get the market up on your screen. I can tell you, though, first and foremost, Waterford is the best-backed runner in the race here with Tab, and by quite some margin. Sabak, the favourite, though, late $4.60 into $4. There's a couple of others there, as you can see on your screen, at longer odds. Now, right, while you're reading through those runners at...
Racing now, and Riadini left pretty swiftly, together with Cepheus there and Caesar's Palace, 3 of them in it early. Ascension's going to make it 4 by popping through the middle. Bandersnatch sits behind together with Sabak, then came Lure Me in from Waterford. Further back to Waterford, and a gap back to Wellwall, Superior, and last of all is Diamond as they race down the side. Cepheus in front, Ascension travelling strongly, gets within a half length the outside, followed by Caesar's Palace, then came Riadini. Next Bandersnatch, 3 back the inside of Sabak. They're followed by Lure Me in on the inside of Waterford. He's travelling very strongly and about to peel deeper as they turn. Cepheus swings in front of Ascension. Riadini moves up 3 wide and being cuddled into the race. Sabak gets going. Waterford revved up, getting right to the outside. Cepheus just in front from Riadini. Sabak, Waterford the outside. Caesar's Palace making ground. It's Cepheus, the rails wide out Waterford. Cepheus still in front from Waterford. Going well, Cepheus. Going strongly to the wire, and Cepheus is going to lead all the way from Waterford. Caesar's Palace 3rd, Bandersnatch 4th, then Wellwall from Sabak, Riadini. Further back to Lure Me in, Superior, Diamond, and Ascension weakened out of it.
So big odds here for a very, very good trainer in Matthew Dunn, and it was $15. So Cepheus gets a chance to go to a Doncaster. I thought with a couple of hundred to go...
Be going off a little bit early. This could be perhaps the B set of the form compared to some of the horses we've discussed that are likely heading to that race, particularly some of those 3-year-olds. But it was Sephus who led all. This was a good win for National Wheeler for Matty Dunn. Crossed Ascension and was able to take the fence before the turn. Powered on to take a victory in the end. It was a good one, and this is after a couple of starts at Doomben recently. But is it a fair, I guess, synopsis of the race, Mike, that this is, you'd imagine, the B set of the form heading towards a Doncaster?
Yeah, I think so. This horse wasn't too bad a couple of seasons back. So, given an aggressive ride by Nash, I thought Waterford was going to loom up and win at the furlong pole, but it was really strong through the line. And I think as it gets out in trip a touch further, it'll be competitive.
And as it's time for the feature race, the Adelaide Cup, and if you find the winner, the value will take care of itself. Looks like being $5.50 or $6 the field. At this stage, we've got Grand Promenade and Highland Jack sharing top billing at $5.50. Of that duo, the better backed is Highland Jack, including 2 separate bets of $5.
Field set, gates open, they're racing in the Cup. And wider out, True Marvel, one of the first to bounce into stride. Persan and also Rebel Racer with initial speed. Wolf Prince wider out. Highland Jack got away quite nicely, as did Aurora's Symphony nearer the rail, and Grand Promenade is deeper out. A maid stepped on terms with them, so that's the first result for his followers. And Jack, Wagon Wheel. Chalk Stream next as the leader starts to quicken down the side. Wheels is locked up on the rail. Stars of Karam alongside, and then wider out True Marvel. Stafford's Lad Sabona, 2 to Team Captain, and Busker's Ballad still at the tail end of the field. Rebel Racer looking to pinch the Cup, leads by a length. Persan strides up ominously. A maid gets moving, and Grand Promenade. Highland Jack squeezing between. Chalk Stream wider out. Aurora's Symphony's under lock and key. Then Team Captain Stafford's Lad, Wagon Wheel, Wheels and Sabona up to the bend. 500 metres to run, and the leader still Rebel Racer. Edging off the rail now, Persan with a maid. Aurora's Symphony can come through. Grand Promenade one pace. Rebel Racer tries to steal the Cup. Aurora's Symphony off his back to challenge. Wider out a maid. Then Persan, Highland Jack and Stafford's Lad. Aurora's Symphony gradually wearing down Rebel Racer. Rebel Racer won't surrender. Aurora's Symphony tries to get him. Aurora's Symphony and Rebel Racer. What a thrilling contest. Rebel Racer off the canvas to win the Adelaide Cup. Rebel Racer from Aurora's Symphony. A maid and Stafford's Lad.
Highland Jack, Persan, Stars of Karam.
A cup win full of heart, a cup win full of determination, full of grit. Rebel Racer leads all the way to take out the 2023 Adelaide Cup. A tenacious performance by Craig Newitt for Amy and Ash Yagi on this 6-year-old son of Rebel Raider. And John, at a bit of a price to Amy and Ash Yagi, the winning trainers. They will get such a kick out of this. This horse, as you said, bought as a tried horse only earlier this campaign, Terry, and I can see...
Need a moment?
Yes, I need a lot. Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened.
What were your expectations coming here today? He's been so good in his previous 2 runs since joining your stable.
I've told everyone I honestly thought he was a really good chance, and they wrote him off, and I cannot, oh my God, I can't believe we've pulled that off. Like, beautiful.
Senate Flemington, and they're racing in the All-Star Mile.
The inaugural running in 2019 showcased a stunning performance from Tasmania's Mystic Journey, who defied Annalise.
Mystic Journey over the top takes the lead. She is one for Imperatriz. Mystic Journey's won the All-Star Mile, elected a quarter.
2022 All-Star Mile.
Zaki clear, Zaki a star, an All-Star Mile winner.
The third member of the successful team, Jamie Carr, piloted the Gal.
Runners for Ben and JD Hayes, 4th in the race last year before winning the Doncaster at his next start, 5th in the Ore, 2nd in the Futurity in the lead in here.
Been outstanding in 2 runs this preparation. He's just been too far back. Now he draws inside. He can be much closer to the speed. Should get a soft run. I think he's going as well as ever. I think he's one of the 3 key chances.
The All-Star Mile. These grandstands are going to shake, rattle and roll as they make their way for home in the $5 million Classic.
I think there's 3 key chances, and I think of the 3, I'm Thunderstruck's the one that's the wrong price. High pressure, 1,600 metres, dips.
Here, Benazgari, I think a high-pressure race. They're getting off the fence. They're blending in. That's an opportunity for I'm Thunderstruck to finish over the...
I'm with Mr. Brightside here. I think that he's paraded at his peak. I love his composure. He's one of the most relaxed horses wandering around the yard. So happy to be with Mr. Brightside here in the All-Star Mile.
Okay, here we go. It's all about Alligator Blood. Chips are in with punters. Markets opened up for the All-Star Mile, and it was all about Alligator Blood. He's a big loss on the books for Sportsbet. Come on, punters, let's get him home, the chomper. I'm Thunderstruck next best at your $6.50. Just it trims up half a point, but Mr. Brightside also with him there at $7. The top 3 absolutely strip out the market. The best backed at...
And the field is set for All-Star Mile 5. Racing. Nugget from barrier number 1 jumped well with Keats and Gentleman Roy, and Alligator Blood's in the top 4. Mr. Brightside 5th early. I'm Thunderstruck, just ridden with a little bit of aggression in the first 200 metres to stick inside of Laws of Indices early. Alan Kerr is midfield. They were followed by Agon, the Inevitable on the rails. Further back is My Oberon. She's a belter, pounding. Well back Cascadian. Sosi Bonner's at the end. So Keats has gone to the front, 1,000 metres to go, and is going to ensure a good tempo and led by about 2.5 lengths. Craig Newitt looks over the right shoulder. He's got 2 lengths now on Gentleman Roy and Nugget 3rd. Next is Laws of Indices, who's a little wide. Alligator Blood between horses. Mr. Brightside the fence, and then came I'm Thunderstruck. Thunder's about 5 off the lead. 1.5 lengths to Agon, Alan Kerr, the Inevitable. Further back, My Oberon, she's a belter. Well back in the field is Cascadian, with also pounding, and 2 lengths Sosi Bon. Keats under pressure at the 600, and Gentleman Roy has taken the lead from Laws of Indices. I'm Thunderstruck is moving up around the outside. They were followed by Alligator Blood, who's in awful traffic. Further back in the field, Mr. Brightside and Nugget. Gentleman Roy went for home. 300 metres to go. 1.5 lengths in front of Alligator Blood, who's getting into the clear. They were followed by Nugget, and to the outside, Mr. Brightside. Alligator Blood moves up and takes the lead, but Mr. Brightside's challenging. Mr. Brightside up to Alligator Blood. Cascadian late. Mr. Brightside in front, and Mr. Brightside has won the mile from Cascadian, the Inevitable. 4th, Alligator Blood from Nugget. Next in the field, pounding, and then came Sosi Bon, Gentleman Roy, she's a belter. I'm Thunderstruck, Laws of Indices, Agon. Keats at the end of the field with My Oberon and Alan Kerr. Mr.
Odyssey continues for Ben and JD Hayes. 4th in the race 52 weeks ago. He went and punched his Group 1 ticket at the next start in the Doncaster, and 12 months later, he is very much the weight for age contender. gets another victory under his belt. What a time Ben and JD Hayes are having. They took the keys to Lindsay Park, the keys to the kingdom. They had horses taken off them, and they've done an incredible job with this horse since he came across from New Zealand. Really quick tempos. They've broken 1:34.5 in the All-Star Mile, giving the track record some sort of shake. The inevitable for Tassie runs in a third. Alligator Blood, the race favourite, once again not able to get it done in the big one. 4, 3, 9 and 2 in the All-Star Mile, and Luke Curry is back a winner on Victorian soil.
It's Lindsay Park again in a big race. They are absolutely flying at the moment, and Mr. Brightside, it looked like he might have come back better this preparation. Well, I think he has. He just keeps getting better and better.
Racing in recent years, and it's Mr. Brightside. Fourth in the race last year. His lead-up form suggested a peak performance was coming third up based on what we saw in the Futurity. We got it, and he also got a great ride from Luke Curry back in town.
Yeah, what a ride it was. So Keats rolled along at a good speed thanks to dailysectionals.com.au. He's gone, what was it, more than 6 lengths quicker for the first section. So it's very fast. It's not as fast as the Coolmore, say, in Sydney last week, but it's still very fast speed. So they set up to run time. There's Laws of Indices just in behind the pace. He's having a tough run, 3 wide. I'm thunderstruck 3 wide on the back of Laws of Indices. He was probably the disappointing runner of the race. He was having to work to be there, but we did learn later on that he had some pretty severe heat stress. So I think we can be forgiving of his performance. But have a look at Luke Curry. He's back to the fence here. He's got Alligator Blood on his outside. He has to weave a passage here, but Mr. Brightside was just phenomenal.
I'm thunderstruck is moving up around the outside. They were followed by Alligator Blood, who's in awful traffic. Further back in the field, Mr. Brightside and Nugget. Gentleman Roy went for home. 300 metres to go. A length and a half in front of Alligator Blood, who's getting into the clear. They were followed by Nugget, and to the outside, Mr. Brightside. Alligator Blood moves up and takes the lead, but Mr. Brightside's challenging. Mr. Brightside up to Alligator Blood. Cascadian late. Mr. Brightside in front, and Mr. Brightside has won the mile from Cascadian, the inevitable.
We're going to take a look at the race from a variety of angles. Chopper back in action across the Festival of Racing, but Luke Curry's decisive move approaching the turn, we see it so often in racing at the Valley. It's fence or out, and he went out, and it proved to be a winning decision.
And also the fact that he's been riding on those tight tracks of Happy Valley in Hong Kong. So he is just...
It was just a high-pressure 1,600 metres. He was only second up from a spell.
The 16, when it's high-pressure, tap him out. He wins an Underwood at 18, which was perhaps served up to him in terms of the tempo of that race, and then... in a similar vein was the Champions Mile, a race where it has to be run in a particular vein for him to be successful at something north of 14.
Don't know if he taps him out, but look at here, 100 metres to go. He's still boxing on. He's still being as brave as we know the Alligator is, and it's taken a horse like the Inevitable, who had a sweet run and tanked into the race at about the 400. If you'd backed the Inevitable, you would have given yourself a chance approaching the turn. All in all, I thought the race delivered, and the one thing about the All-Star Mile, you might have opinions about how the whole thing works, the machinations of the All-Star Mile, but the winners of the race have been superb.
Well, that does stand up.
And Alana, what a great ride, jumping and winning the kick. We're up to the Alister Clark back here at Moonee Valley now, 2,040 metre. Good gallop this is with Amenable coming up your favourite. Now, we opened up at $3.50.
Right here in the Alister Clark, $750,000 up for grabs for the 3-year-olds, no doubt many of them.
I think this horse is worth a gamble. So, Amenable was a great run in the...
Well, I loved his run second up. He had no luck there. I think he's ready to peak here, getting to the 2,000 metres, and he might...
Loved his parade. He's just thriving in the stable at the moment. This horse, he looked outstanding in the coat. He was bright.
$3 clear-cut favourite, so a good little push back in for your favourite Amenable, drawn the inside barrier. With that Japanese Emperor, he's quite safe in the market. He's hanging around that $5 mark.
Signal, and away they go. Chevelle Savant just took a little leap and missed it a couple of lengths. No speed, high approach, running on time, jumped well with Swazuro, and also What a Deal coming over from the deep. Not too far away is Bankmore, who's holding its position on the rails momentarily. Then high approach, Amenable, and back in the field, CR7. Then Mr. Fabulous, 3 corner, 1,200 to go. Swazuro, the leader, by a length, 2 in second, running on time. 2 lengths to Bankmore as they relax the speed. High approach continues to move around them. A couple of lengths to What a Deal, and then came Amenable. A length and a quarter, CR7. 7, and then came Chevelle Savant. A length and a half away, Mr. Fabulous, well back Japanese Emperor, and Dunkel is last. Off the back of the 800 metres, Swazuro, a half length running on time. A length and a quarter high approach, who slots in outside of Maur. 2 further back is What a Deal, and then came Amenable, who's had a cushy sit, 6th on the inside. Needs a bit of Ollie Magic now, only 4 off the lead. From CR7, Mr. Fabulous, and then well back Chevelle Savant with Japanese Emperor and Dunkel. Swazuro running on time, has stopped and started them. Comes up to the 450 by a length and a half. 2 in third, high approach, and then Bankmore bullocking into the clear. Amenable's got out about 4 or 5 wide, and still 4 off the lead as they sprint. Swazuro in front of running on time. Then Bankmore. 2 further back, Japanese Emperor, who's working into the clear. Swazuro the leader with about 100 metres to go from Bankmore, who's pegging it back. Swazuro grabbed by Bankmore. Japanese Emperor is behind them, but Bankmore took the front, and Bankmore has won it from Swazuro and Japanese Emperor. Photo for 4th, running on time at Amenable. Then came Chevelle Savant. The Bolt has run a decent race. Dunkel slicing through them, and then came CR7, high approach, What a Deal, and at the end, Fabulous.
Frog Day. Treble for Craig Newitt. Parasail in the previous, the Typhoon Tracy Group 3. An upgrade here with Bankmore taking out the Group 2 Alister Clark with a cool prize pool of $750,000 on the line. And it's a case of In Japan We Trust across the line as Bankmore, a son of Morris, defeats Swazuro, a son of Real Impact, with Japanese Emperor, son of Satono Aladdin, back in third. Bankmore was...
Bankmore, very good, very consistent, deserving of victory.
I was trying to look for Suizuro leading, but I was looking, I'm like, this doesn't no Suizuro here. This is not that
the
race.
fact that it was sunny and clearly not sunny during the...
And they were running along a bit in that sprint race, and the point I make here is they were not running along here. This was... nice ride aboard those up on speed, Suizuro running on time, and Bankmore, because thanks to daily sectionals, they were going about 3 lengths slower than average. So not crawling speed, but certainly not quick. And I just think Bankmore was in the absolute perfect position by Craig Newitt. Look at Japanese Emperor back in the field, over racing. He actually got a little keen at times himself. Keen back in the field. Dunkel, I think, for a genuine stayer, was just a completely unsuited back last and has run okay. He just wants further and a more genuinely step up in trips. So not a race I'm going to be taking at face value going forward. I just think it was a slow speed and right run for the winner.
I think Chevelle, but he pulled his head off early, didn't he? And what about Amenable? He sort of teased us late there, running through the line, but what's his sweet spot? Is a mile? I don't think 2,000's his go, is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think probably 1,600 metres is his absolute sweet spot, but the problem with that race is we didn't learn a whole lot about who runs 2,000 metres and who doesn't, because it was
that type of thing. Some super colts, Katie, have won the Rosehill Guineas in the past. The last 2 winners actually racing here today, but not much better than this bloke.
Oh, yeah, he was extraordinary in the Ranvet, so I think he's, of course, Anamoe, of course, big A.
Doesn't he love that look around? A couple of days ago where he described this as his best race on the card, even though he has Anamoe at odds on a little bit later. $2.20 about Pericles, Elliptical at $5.50, Linderman at $6.50, Matcha Latte at $8.50 on the drift. Williamsburg much the same at $13. Brosnan's run well each and every run this preparation. Manzoy...
It's a big one, the first of 5 Group 1s, Darren Findale.
Leaders and the gates are back. They're off and racing. Elliptical from barrier 1 jumped well. Linderman as well wide out. Favourite is there, Pericles, but being restrained now with Machelade holding a spot. Then came Osbred Rising Sun from Williamsburg, Manzois. And Brosnan's the last one. So Nash is allowing Linderman to build up the revs, rolling forward. And Linderman's going to cruise across from the outside without too much pressure and take the lead. And McDonald, so Linderman looking to make all. Out by 2 lengths on Pericles, the favourite doing the stalking at the 1,200 metres. 2.5 to Machelade, 1 off the fence from Williamsburg. Length and a half then to Elliptical from Manzois, Osbred Rising Sun. And Brosnan still 2 lengths away at the rear of the field and about 9 lengths off the front runner. They've got 1,000 to go. Linderman on top by 2 lengths in the Rosehill Guineas from the short price favourite Pericles. Then came Machelade on the outside of Williamsburg. Further back to Elliptical, then Manzois from Osbred Rising Sun. Brosnan still the last 1.8 off the lead. So it's Linderman and full of running down the side of the course, approaching the 750 by 2.5 on the favourite Pericles. Just given a little bit of a nudge now by McDonald. Machalade's under the pump. Then came Williamsburg, making hard work of an elliptical from Manzois, Osbert, Rising Sun and Brosnan as they turn. Nash goes for home on Linderman. Now Pericles stoked up by McDonald, and the favourite is sticking to the task. It's Linderman a length, 3/4 to Pericles, who's almost level now. Yes, Pericles draws level with Linderman. They're well clear from the rest. It's Pericles trying to get the upper hand from Linderman. Drifting out Pericles from Linderman. Lifting hard. Oh, it's a thriller in the Guineas. Linderman coming back on Pericles. There's nothing between the pair. Williamsburg third. Then came elliptical from Machalade, Manzois, Brosnan and Osbred Rising Sun.
It's a thriller, and it's the big two. It's Waller versus Cummings. It's Nash versus J-Mac. He was going to win Ruilla and McDonald. So close and close and close. Nash has got 66 Group 1s. J-Mac's got 75. That's as close to a dead heat as you'll see in a long time. It does look like the inside, and the inside has got it. So what a stunning performance. And Katie, I've got to say, Nash has ridden...
Real staying test, didn't he? He made sure from about 1,000 metres onwards he had Linderman at his top, and all of them had to come off the bridle and work really hard at trying to chase him down. But the way that he fought and bounced off the canvas has been an unbelievable effort by the horse.
And Richo, Debbie...
Fourth, the Rosehill Guineas for the 3-year-olds, and it was Linderman with Nash Ruilla going back on. Of course, he'd committed to Osipenko in the Randwick Guineas. That horse was scratched on race morning as a result of an elevated temperature. Kieran McAvoy rode Linderman to second in the Randwick Guineas. Nash was back on yesterday and was good enough to get a victory over Pericles. Chris Waller, of course, a couple of Group 1s on the day. We'll get to Shinzo very shortly. But a tough effort to deny Pericles, who it seemed like everyone wanted to be with coming off his win in the Autumn Classic down here.
You can make a nice horse, Pericles. I just don't know if it'll be at 2,000 metres plus. He might actually just be a brilliant 1,600. 1,800 looks okay, but maybe the end of 2,000 just sees him out. That was thanks to daily sectionals on a really good day of racing up at Rosehill, the 7th of 10 races. So, a bit like the Alister Clark, which was, I think, 9 of 10 down here. Those 2,000 metre plus staying 3-year-olds, there's no standouts at the moment.
And that was the fastest edition of the Rosehill Guineas since Dundeal's victory some 10 years ago.
Good how burly he was, so naturally he'll strip fitter again. So he goes from 1,800 metres to 2,000. Doesn't get the cut in the ground that we know he absolutely loves. Any sort of a soft track, he'd be going up another notch for mine. This will just... This is the guy they have to get past, because I think this guy peaks today at the perfect trip for him at 2,000.
He's unbeaten here too at Road. Nash, a good opportunity to ride 2 Group 1s.
Lizzie, fascinated. What do you think of Dubai Honour?
Well, he's beautifully relaxed, which is the first sign that he's going to run well.
Gold Trip, and there was another runner not too far behind. Now, as it stands, Mwanga is a clear favourite and easily the best-backed runner. Montefilia at $5.50 on the second line. Now, we took a bet of $10,000 at $5 on Gold Trip and then wound it out a point. So I feel for that punter. Hinged at $6, Dubai Honour at $6.50 was that horse that opened up at 4 on the second line. Now at the $6.50, El Bodegon and Banker's Choice.
Go now. Gates are back here in the Ranvet, and Hinge jumped really well off the inside, and quickly into stride was Mwanga, immediately moving forward on the outside of El Bodegon. Dubai Honour settles in 4th, then came Montefilia from Banker's Choice. And the Melbourne Cup winner Gold Trip's going to settle last of all. So it's Hinged in front of Mwanga, who's pressing on the outside. Nash is having a look over the shoulder Trip, and Banker's Choice is still the last one. So Hinged is looking to make all in the Ranvet Stakes. Leads by 2 lengths at the 1,000 from Mwanga. Then came Dubai Honour, tucked away on the rails, 3/4 further back to El Bodegon. Then Gold Trip and Montefilia. They're racing head and head, and 2 lengths away to Banker's Choice. Now Nash starts to turn the screws on Mwanga. Mo'unga. He moved up on the outside, Hinged a long way from home. It's Hinged and Mo'unga going stride for stride now. And Espiona stalking the pair in third. Montefilia taking off on the outside of El Bodigan. Then Gold Trip and Banker's Choice coming to the turn. Hinged has still got something in the locker. And Hinged found a length and a half on Mo'unga. And now Ryan Maur's pushing into the clear on Espiona. Montefilia coming down the outside. Espiona moved up on the outside of Hinged. They're clear then from Montefilia. Mo'unga can't go on, but it is William Haggas going to do it again. Espiona's 3 lengths clear. Last year's winner Montefilia can't get there, and Espiona can't handle a dry track. Look at him go. Espiona ripped clear to win it by 5 lengths to Montefilia. Mo'unga third, followed then by Hinged, Gold Trip, further back to Banker's Choice and El Bodigan.
So Ryan Maur catches Joe Moreira in a flash, doesn't he? What's that for Ryan Maur? What, is that 169 Group 1s? Gosh. Can you believe it? Oh, boy. I've got my tail between my legs, to be truthful. Richo, I'll get to you in a second, but is a horse that's not in the top company in Europe that much better than our lot?
Unbelievable, Bruce. It gave me goosebumps the way that he won. He won with a leg in the air. And
I'm thinking Anamoe and the Queen Elizabeth. Oh, boy, is this horse going to be some sort of a threat? Richo, you're probably looking for an interview, but I want to leave that for later on. But we've got a livey in the Queen Elizabeth as well, haven't we?
Izzy Paul comes across and has a quick chat to me now. I know you're going to go and lead him in. What a huge thrill. What a performance.
Oh, yeah. You know, he's such a talented little horse and he can be quirky, but he's just been feeling great. He loves the Aussie lifestyle. He thinks it's a big holiday and he's really, really enjoyed being out here. So, no, just delighted for him to do it. And to do it in that sort of fashion as well is pretty impressive. You know, he's first up off a kind of decent enough break. So, yeah, no, delighted with him.
And William
victories. We have a look at the replay. William Haggas, of course, winning this race with a Daeb some 3 years ago. This was a command performance. Ryan Maur just barged him to the lead at about the 350-metre mark, and they were just simply eating his dust. Of course, this is a horse that hadn't won since 2021. He was lightly raced in the UK last year, had just the 4 runs, a couple of placings, but perhaps the easiest tie into his bona fides for this race were the fact that he'd run 4th in a Hong Kong Cup going back to December 2021. Yeah,
and chasing horses like Bay Eid in the international stakes, which you could probably argue on ratings as one of the best races in the world. They talk about the Arc being the best race, but I reckon the international stakes at York is right up there. The big question mark leading into yesterday was the bone-dry track, and he absolutely cooked them. So, very good horse.
And perhaps, in no disrespect to them, but with no Anamoe, who we'll get to in a moment, and we'll see them clash in the Queen Elizabeth, that's perhaps the B-set of the weight for age gallopers at 2,000 metres, the Mo'ungas and co.
Yeah, you'd say so. I'm fascinated with this clash in the Queen Elizabeth now, because what does that...
Today, it's 6 Group 1s for this racing season, Caitlin. So we've looked back since 1979, since the pattern came in, and these are the horses that have won 6 or more in a season. Winx actually is the only one that's won more. She won 7, but twice she won 6. Have a look at those names.
Yeah, he's in elite company, isn't he? He's an unbelievable horse, and we'll see what he's got to offer us today. Because of course he's drawn a tricky barrier. He's on the outside.
Very busy man today is James Cummings, so James, really appreciate it.
Well, this is often where you see he has some chinks in his armours early on in his career, but now he's just so mature, so mentally ready for these big occasions. You can hear people over the fence. This is like...
Second in the Slipper and Windsor Rosehill Guineas, but Artorias was half the price this horse was in the Golden Slipper. He was regarded as a better chance.
Yeah, well, he's a top horse, we know that, and the sectionals that he can reel off are incredible. So he ran...
Very much with him. I haven't seen a horse truckloaded like this in a Group 1 for years. Anamoe is absolutely hammered. The price is sticking around that $1.80 mark, but we are talking about a significant loss from a tab side of things. If he wins, 14 times more than the next best backed runner in the race, and 81% of the total hold. So that would reflect a horse that's a much shorter price than what we're seeing about Anamoe there. Artoria's second fave, Fangirl, Golden Mole, Avante, Osipenko at 21.
Big horse. He's protecting all of that and more. Does he get that sixth Group 1. Here we go.
The Rough and Racing, Golden Mile missed it, and Anamoe's up there in the firing line early. Electric Girl jumped well. Anamoe just drifting back now as Electric Girl leads initially from Convergent Communist right there. Hello, he's caught very wide now, Anamoe. So James summing up the situation as Osipenko charges up to fourth, Arturius fifth in Kerwin's lane, and Anamoe's looking to slip in now. Followed then by Lion's Roar, who's probing through on the inside. Then came Golden Mile, further back to Fangirl, and the New Zealand mare Levante's last of all. So Electric's going down the side, and Electric Girl is the front runner by 3/4 to Converge right up there. Communist third, Osipenko in fourth. Anamoe will have to earn his stripes today, sitting 3 wide. Over on the inside, Arturius, Kerwin's lane between them. Further back to Golden Mile and the white cap from Lion's Roar. Then came Fangirl and Levante's last of all. Coming to the turn, Electric Girl just in front. From Converge, Communist locked up. Osipenko peeling wide, and now Anamoe getting right to the outside. Converge moved up now, racing to a narrow lead from Electric Girl. Osipenko and Anamoe being roused along. Converge at big odds, giving a great sight. Anamoe, he's really got a lift. He's coming now. Anamoe lays it down to Converge, and the big A Anamoe puts the head in front. Rattling home is Fangirl. Anamoe's George Ryder. Anamoe beat Fangirl. Converge, Arturius flashing at the end. Then came Osipenko, Levante Communist, Lion's Roar, Electric Girl, and Golden Mile. He had to left after the wide run. He's done it. Anamoe. Bring on the
Does it he do? So 6 Group 1s for the year. 9 in total, the same number as Nature Strip. It's as good as we've ever seen him, to be truthful. He had to be superior. J-Mac had nowhere else to go. He had to ride him like the best horse. The best horse, Richo, he was. These are the moments that we dream about on a racecourse, aren't they?
Well, you summed it up so brilliantly, Bruce, when suddenly this horse has become more about the sport than the animal himself. He was a sense of occasion around him today. Take us through the race, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Richo. Look, he had to dig deep, didn't he, with the wide run that he had. James and Dominic Byrne and I sat down yesterday and went right through the race. And we thought it was entirely likely there'd be a scenario where we would be wide and, having to make use of his big rating. But he was ready for the fight today. I don't think that he's at his best on really hot days where he sweats freely in the yard, but he was still very fit third up, kept him sharper for the 1500, and I think he's going to look dangerous stepping up to 2000 next time. And I'm just more than...
We talked about that at the start, didn't we? Could they get to the 10 for the season? And Anamoe gets to 6 and 9, same as Nature Strip 9. 6, same as Black Caviar, Kingston Town, Winks. So you think this is what he is. It's an occasion when he races. Look, the margin's not great.
Mentioned, but it was the way that he had to do it tough and find every inch out of him. And what a performance, what a horse. Everyone is elated.
Talked about that at the start.
Of the run it had.
3 wide, wide gate, doesn't matter. A 9th Group 1, what a gun.
He's so tough, and we throw the word champion around and everyone says, no, they've got to prove themselves. But I think yesterday, that was such a tough, gutsy win. What a horse. You just got to take your hat off to him and the whole Godolphin team.
He doesn't win by big margins, which means if you want to keep backing him, I think you keep getting a pretty respectable price.
Now, we know in terms of the winning streak, he's not Winks and he's not Black Caviar, but he's now got 9 Group 1 victories, as you alluded to. And the fact that he has always been backable. He was lurking around that $1.85 mark, went off at $1.90. And if you've been backing him through the preparation, you're just counting the cash once again.
Fangirl, perhaps, at least at the sort of mid to higher end of the weights, going to be Mr. Brightside, you imagine. Main competitor come the Doncaster.
Yeah, huge chance in a Doncaster. If she went to the Queen of the Turf, she would be a deserving favourite in that race. She's going outstandingly well. That race has rated really well, as you'd expect. What a clash we've got coming up in the Queen Elizabeth. I think there's a few other international... Up to 2,000 metres, Anamoe. It was 1,600 back to 1,500 and sat wide and was still too good yesterday. And up to 2,000 metres against a really serious horse in Dubai. We've got a clash and something to look forward to.
Converge and
Coolmore have got this super colt in Shinzo, and then the uber impressive Learning to Fly, the filly. So, you can tell the whole of the 100...
To be bubbled. Blue Diamond into the Golden Slipper.
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do. In fact, the last horse that actually went straight from a Blue Diamond into a Golden Slipper was 1989 Courtser. So this is what this bloke, Little Rose, is trying to do.
Yes, and of course the last one to do it was Sepoy back in 2011. So, yeah, there's only...
Been counting down towards this, haven't we, since they first trialled these 2-year-olds as they first stepped onto the racetrack and had their first run, and now here we are in a slipper. Good luck to all of the connections. Cylinder, $3.70 is currently our favourite and just the best backed runner in the race. Learning to Fly not too far behind at all in terms of money held, but currently $6. King's Gambit's been a firmer into $7. Don Corleone at $10. Platinum Jubilee, we went up $21 after the barrier draw, now into $11. Loses the stablemate, obviously, and we certainly feel for the connections of that runner. Little Bros at $12. Steel City at much the same. As we head over the page, we're talking 23 or more the remainder. Exploring a firmer, 71 to 41 with that form down south. And then
the Golden Slipper. Here we go. 2023 version.
Away for a start. Cylinder is the favourite. And they're ready. And the gates are back. They're off. And Learning to Fly's missed the kick. She's second last. And jumping very swiftly, Arkansas Kid wide out with Platinum Jubilee. Exploring's right on the scene. Steel City settles in fourth and Cylinder pushing through on the rails. Blanc de Blanc's pretty handy to the leading division, followed then by Don Corleone. Shinzo's whipping up on the rails. They're followed after 2 lengths to Empire of Japan, getting up on the inside of Little Bros. King's Gambit in a 3-wide position. Further back to Barber, Learning to Fly, third last from Lazago, and Militarized is last of all. Exploring heads them up down the side from Arkansas Kid. Back in the field, Lazago being eased out of the race. Steel City in third. Cylinder fourth on the rails from Platinum Jubilee. Then came Blanc de Blanc, Shinzo on the rails as they straighten up. And at big odds, Exploring shows the way. On the outside, Arkansas Kid. Cylinder roos up on the inside. Hard on the inside. Shinzo starting to run on. Cylinder takes the lead of the 200 from Shinzo giving chase. Cylinder, Shinzo, and right down the outside with a big run late is Mpega coming home hard. King's Gambit, but Shinzo and Ryan Maur have drawn clear to win the Golden Slipper. Shinzo beats Cylinder. King's Gambit third. Don Corleone fourth, and Empire Japan further back to Arkansas Kid from Little Bros. Then came Blanc de Blanc from Barber, a gap to Exploring from Steel City, Platinum Jubilee, Militarized, and we lost the rider of Learning to Fly, full of drama for her. Chad Schofield's come down over at the 600-metre mark and failing to finish Lazago.
So that's the drama. It's Coolmore and Godolphin, the 2 biggest in the world, and Guri behind them with all the owners. So Ryan Maur gets a 3rd Australian major. Chris Waller climbs the Everest that we've talked about for oh so long and gets the slipper to go with the Caulfield Cup and all those Cox Plates and a Melbourne Cup. It is a remarkable performance. Ryan Maur and James McDonald up the straight together, Caitlin. One for the ages.
What a ride. What a colt. I just loved his performance last week, and he's just such a cool dude, isn't he? The way that he paraded in the yard, and having Ryan Maur in the saddle, I think that was just the icing on the cake.
It was an extraordinary ride. He came up on the inside. Cylinder was great. King's Gambit was outstanding.
Course was the Longines Golden Slipper for the 2-year-olds, and on the quick backup it was Shinzo in the Coolmore colours getting along the fence. What an amazing effort by Ryan Maur and Chris Waller, as mentioned off the top. They've got 300-plus Group 1s between them. This was their first Golden Slipper, and it pretty much gives Chris Waller, I suppose, the Grand Slam in Australian racing now that he's won all the majors they've been. I know that major discussion's continuing to unfold, but he's got an Everest under the belt as well. And good buying by Tom Magnier. So they bought the Snitzel Samaretti, or so they bought the Samaretti Infol to Snitzel for $1.8 million at the English Chairman's sale, and now Shinzo's going to go on stand at stud and probably make them. Yeah, whatever you want. How many times over that?
Frank's the former Mahaba, who we knew was good, winning here in Melbourne. Of course, he beat Mahaba in the Pago, and it's interesting that he's bounced straight back after the week before. Very quickly, horses can do that, winning a Golden Slipper. I think Crystal Lily did it, won at Randwick, and then immediately a week later won the Golden Slipper. And as far as the Grand Slam is concerned, I suppose you could say he's won the Grand Slam and he won Indian Wells as well.
And he's invented his own Grand Slam, the Waller Slam. Tale of 2 races, though, I suppose, for both the Coolmore and Waller camps. So we had Learning to Fly lose Chad Schofield at about, I think, the 500 or 600 metre mark out, and also
the Waller runner Lazago ended up being extricated in or involved in that sort of mix-up and running last as well. So we think we haven't had any sort of confirmation on any ailments for Chad Schofield coming out of the fall. I don't think.
No, it is one. When no news is definitely good news there.
So that was positive. Don Corleone running on for third, as JD Hayes touched on. Unfortunately for Little Brosen, Arkansas kid, wasn't their day.
It wasn't. No, and the winner just shows that we can never. Why this game is so tough, because he just continued to improve every start he's gone to the races, and you know, if he'd done what he had done to that point, he probably doesn't measure up in the Golden Slipper, but he just kept improving. He improved again, and he's a really progressive colt.
Speaking
this runner on has pretty much hovered around that price all day. So beyond that, there is some specking for those at longer odds. Aspura, it's kind of dried up today. Remark at $8 has drifted since opening at $6. Shades of Rose at $9.50. Eduardo always has a few fans. Zoo Style. Maria Mia is the one. I know it's 8 out to $11, but there is a bit of interest there. And 1,300 back to 1,100 might not look that desirable, but this has always been the grand final for the stable with her. So there's been some specking for Rocketing by
a length. Eduardo sent forward from the wide gate. Maria Mia, Zoo Style fast into stride. Uncommon James is there, and Shades of Rose is going forward as well. This is a cracking tempo. Zoo Style and Eduardo, and Nash really wants the lead on Eduardo. He's going to take it away from Zoo Style. Shades of Rose took a sit back in third, a couple off to Maria Mia. Uncommon James and Generation out deep, firing up noticeably. Back in the field, Asfura from Cannonball, a gap further back to Andermatt, Rocketing by Remark, and Key Largo's last of all. Eduardo's worked really hard to lead, and Eduardo spins the corner just in front of Zoo Style. Maria Mia back on the inside. Uncommon James has held up for a run. Shades of Rose revved up on the outside. Right down the outside is Remark with a good run. Cannonball squeezing for a Rouse run as Maria Mia takes the lead. Maria Mia's drawn a length clear. Uncommon James clear now. Maria Mia in front from Uncommon James. Cannonball, and Maria Mia wins the Group 1 Galaxy by a length to Uncommon James. Third between Cannonball and Asfura late on the scene. Then Key Largo together with Rocketing by late. Further back to then Generation. Eduardo had to get tied together with Shades of Rose, Zoo Style and Matt.
So Joe Pride wins the third Galaxy, but the big story here is this Gun Apprentice, and we've talked a lot about the Gun Apprentices in New South Wales at the moment. Schiller, Gibbons, and also Lloyd, they've been doing great things, but Tyler Schiller today gets a Group 1 for the first time. It's an unforgettable experience for him.
He came close a couple of weeks.
Joe, you produce another absolute beauty, and you've given a young man a moment of a lifetime in Tyler Schiller.
Yeah, and it was good to do that. Like searching for a jockey in these big races with a lightweight, you like to find someone who can ride it quite naturally, and Tyler is just a natural lightweight.
In a benchmark 70 at the Valley on the 25th of February last year, and the 12 months since with Joe Pride, she went through a winter prep that included a third in a Bletchingley, runs fourth in the Millie Fox, and also won the Expressway through to doing this, beating a really good group of sprinters in the Galaxy.
I want to bring Ben in on this one because the improvements are remarkable for the horse that we saw in Melbourne. I think she was narrowly beaten in a photo finish at Flemington one day, and then you talked about that low-grade race at Moonee Valley. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, she gave a glimpse. One night for the previous stable at the Valley, she just ran, and just how's this happened? And she bolted in by about 6 lengths and ran huge time, but Joe Pride's just an amazing trainer, and the amount of times he's done it, he's gotten tried horses and then got them to go to a new level, particularly with these sprinters, is phenomenal. So she's just the latest cab off the rank.
First Group 1 for young rider Tyler Schiller as well.
Big day for Swettenham, Toronado, Maria Mia, and
day.
Queen Air was outstanding at Moonee Valley. So big day for Swettenham and Toronado.
We'll have a look at that race very shortly. Some hard luck stories maybe for the Victorians in the back. Asfura didn't look to get much galloping room in the straight for Henry Dwyer, unfortunately, in the Galaxy.
Yeah, definitely. You know, she's a horse. She's running well. She just hasn't had that luck this time round. So she's got a big race in her. I think she'll just need things to pan out, and she'll need a little bit of luck to get there.
Uncommon James franking the Oakley plate, and I suppose by extension of that, the Newmarket form with his second yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he was looking like he might win the race at one stage, but he just was held up and then couldn't sprint quick enough to reel in Maria Mia, who was just terrific yesterday. But that they've run pretty good time in that race, and I don't think that's quite the TJ form. That's probably the B level of the sprinters. You're going to go to the TJ and have In Secret, Giga Kick, I Wish I Win, Lofty Strike, private eye, that's going to be, I think, probably the race of the Sydney Autumn. But all of a sudden, the Queen Elizabeth's banging down the door with Dubai Honour and Anamoe. Some exciting racing to come.
And any long...
9 hours ago, we saw the astrologist represent Australia so well on the Alquoz Sprint. This is a race we've had Hortensia and Buffering go to and win in the last 15 years. There he is in the nose roll under the riding of Damien Lane. Just inside him there is Dania, the Shadwell horse, who was, I think, an outsider in the market, about 33 to 1, just in the heads up, heads down go, getting him on the line. But what a tremendous result this is for Leon and Troy Corsons and Bennett Racing. They've been prepared to take the horse over to the Middle East, and they just about got a Group 1.
Yeah, they did, and he's such a brave horse and a terrific performance. He did Australia proud, and Nick Smith from Royal Ascot, straight after the race, approaching connections and said, come over to Royal Ascot this year, and I think they're taking up the offer. So that's exciting as well. The overseas odyssey, I don't think, is ending.
He's a straight line specialist, isn't he? He goes so well down the straight at Flemington, and he's just reproduced his best at Meydan.
So, of course, second in the Newmarket 12 months ago. We discussed it on the wrap. I think this year the Newmarket was so much stronger, and he finished sixth. He's probably going as well as ever. If anything, the run was as good, if not better, this year, and he showed it in the Alquoz with a terrific effort last night.
And just confirming the news we reported on the wrap a few weeks ago, Japan is still really good at horse racing. Equinox, you've got to have a look at the replay of that horse winning the Shima Classic last night, which is traditionally a race we see horses come down here and compete in our cups. Just absolutely smash them. Is this the best horse in the world?
Yeah, look, I'm not probably the best qualified to make comment on that, but having seen this, I'm pretty happy to say yes. I'm not sure there's another horse that's going to be beating him over 2,400 metres on this effort.
He's so versatile too. Like, he can take up a forward position as he did last night, but he can also race.
Well, Mike, you'd be better versed than me to judge
Probably
that.
tried to buy him at some stage.
Yeah.
They're unbuyable, those horses.
2,400. He's the best 2,400 metre horse in the world.
I would have thought so. Yeah, like by some distance. I mean, he's got an impeccable record in Japan. I think that's the first time.
Here at the Valley is the first leg of the quaddie as well. It is a Group 2 race, and it is the Sunline Stakes. We've got one 3-year-old filly that goes up against the 4-year-old mares here. We cannot wait to see how Revolutionary Miss goes after winning the CUNY Stakes last.
Been on Francais for the minors. 8, 2, 1 and 7.
7 on top for me on Francais. I just think that she's really improved from her.
Now gone. We've got equal favourites, Revolutionary Miss and also Ceruleo Miss at the top of betting here. And Barb Raiders even come for some late support into 5.
And Racing and Revolutionary Miss in the red jacket broke really well with Barb Raider. Deny Knowledge out wide, and also Ceruleo Miss midfield at the moment. So the first few 100 metres interesting here. After 200 metres, Barb Raider, Deny Knowledge, Revolutionary Miss just keeps probing up to get a forward position. Ceruleo Miss at the moment's fourth and wide on that first corner. Next in the field, So You See on Francais, Sky Horse last, Cliff's Art, Sky Horse. Deny Knowledge, 750 metres to go. 3/4 of a length to Ceruleo Miss, who has done a little bit of work. Barb Raider third the inside. Revolutionary Miss had cover, peels out 3 deep. A length away, So You See, who's 3 off the lead from On Francais at the 550. Then Cliff's Art and Sky Horse drops away. Ceruleo Miss moves up to Deny Knowledge, heads are off. Revolutionary Miss is immediately on the scene. 400 to go. Ceruleo Miss a half length in front. From on the outside, Revolutionary Miss 2 lengths, So You See, and then came Deny Knowledge around the turn. Ceruleo Miss at the 200 from Revolutionary Miss 2 lengths off her, and then came Deny Knowledge. But Ceruleo Miss, 100 metres to go, has dropped them. She's going great guns. She'll run all night. Ceruleo Miss has bolted in. 4 or 5 lengths, Revolutionary Miss, Deny Knowledge, Barb Raider. Then So You See, a gap, Cliff's Art on Francais, and Sky Horse was beaten a long way from home.
Dominant performance. Ceruleo Miss is in red-hot form. Won the Matron Stakes, which we've seen time and time again. In fact, 7 of the last 11 years, the winner of this race has come through the Matron Stakes. It's the ideal form.
With his horses at the moment, Pride of Dubai, he's in a real purple patch with stakes winners across the country.
Romp on Friday. From 5.5 length romp on Friday night, defeating Revolutionary Miss, who'd obviously come off winning the CUNY. Ceruleo Miss, good in the Matron, went to another level Friday night.
I think Ben Melham's unlocked the key to this mare. So what she is a free-rolling, fast-running 1,600-metre horse. So they got her up to 2,000 metres last preparation, and she was leading at fast speeds, but not finishing off at the end of 2,000. And I think previously when she's run at 1,600 metres, she probably hasn't been rolling at as fast as speeds, but this was a race where there was plenty of tempo, and look at this move here in the mid stages. So as soon as the pace slackens, nice and aggressive, not weakening off. Deny Knowledge likes to roll at a fast speed, and she's just...
Well, Barbara was trying to edge off the fence at about the 800 metres, and Ben said, no, you're not going to edge off the fence and put me...
Leo Miss, 100 metres to go, has dropped them. She's going great guns. She'll run all night. Leo Miss has bolted in. 4 or 5 lengths, Revolutionary Miss, Deny Knowledge.
It's been a good little stretch for Simon Wild, perhaps getting back on top of things again. They had a bit of a flat patch.
That is the Valley, the amphitheatre, so close to the action. The Speedsters, one of 4 Group 1s here at the Valley. 3 of them are for sustained speed. And, of course, the Cox Plate became a Group 1 in 1987, and we are set for a...
There's a couple here that there's fireworks going on when we take a look at what's happening outside of the favourite Imperatriz at $3.60. So in the Congo, $14. That was gone within a day when the markets went up into $7 now. Again, sits on speed. Jigsaw.
$1 million in prize money. Hutch, who are you with?
Yeah, I'm with Jigsaw. I really think Cindy Aldis has got a great chance with Jigsaw. King of Sparta, I'm somewhat tempered.
I'm with Babylon Berlin here, the 13. I thought that she paraded an outstanding order. In fact, I was very, very impressed when I saw her step into the mounting.
William Reid, and we've only got a couple of minutes until the jump time. At the moment, Imperatriz is still our favourite, and she will start favourite. She's back into the $3.50 at the moment, having got out to $3.70. I said she was trending out towards the $4. Well, punters said no, that's not happening. Straight back into the $3.50. The one that the market is absolutely screaming at us is going to run a bold race here is Babylon Berlin. $14 earlier today, now into $6.50. Outright second favourite ahead of...
Feature the 3-point Motors William Reid Stakes $1 million contest as the William Reid signal racing at the 1200 metres. Beautiful line 2. King of Sparta goes out the back in the Congo, fires out on the inside to lead with Jigsaw racing it early, and also Babylon Berlin is right there on the premises. A length and a half to Front Page, who surges up to 4th. 2 lengths Masked Crusader, September Run. Then came Imperatriz, back behind them Chain of Lightning, Rockin' Horse, Bella Nipotina. A Case of You is second last, and King of Sparta is last. Jigsaw crossed to the rails and led 3/4 of a length to in second in the Congo. Babylon Berlin is now 3 wide and pressing on with it as they reach halfway. A length and a half away Front Page. 2 lengths September Run. Imperatriz is coming into it, followed by Masked Crusader, Bella Nipotina. Behind those then Rockin' Horse, well back Chain of Lightning, and behind them King of Sparta and A Case of You. Babylon Berlin up to Jigsaw. 300 metres to go. A length and a half. Imperatriz getting closer. Then came in the Congo, and Bella Nipotina to the outside in the straight. Babylon Berlin has been grabbed by Imperatriz. Bella Nipotina coming at it. Imperatriz 3/4 of a length in front. The Kiwi and Opie. It's Imperatriz wins it from Bella Nipotina. Rockin' Horse third. For 4th, a photo out wide. A Case of You, and also September Run pulls up quickly. Back behind those horses, King of Sparta, then Babylon Berlin, Chain of Lightning, Front Page, Jigsaw, Masked Crusader, and towards the end in the Congo after being used early.
The legend of Opie Bosson just grows another. He goes to 91 in this quest for 100 Group 1s in his career. He'll get there because he's a bona fide star. He comes to Australia, he gets it right with Imperatriz, but she's damn good. She adds to her terrific record, accelerates away. Bella Nipotina loves the Valley. She then the winner.
Yeah, lovely ride from Opie, was it? The speed was really on, and they've overdone it. Gee, there's some interference late there with September Run shifting back to the inside as well, that the stewards, I'm sure, will take a look at. But well done to Imperatriz. She went oh so close behind Artorias, of course, on her first Aussie assignment, and Opie sort of said what he was going to do tonight, and he's absolutely done it to perfection, hasn't he? It's been a fantastic ride.
And Imperatriz, after a good run, got bloused by Artorias late in the Canterbury Stakes, came to Victoria, came to the 1200 metres, and Opie Bosson, it was a very, very confident ride. It was a well-executed one in the end, and all that we've enjoyed seeing from her back in New Zealand across the summer months, including that incredible win in the BCD Sprint, was here for us to enjoy.
They went really quick here. Jigsaw was going about 6 lengths fast on average. It looks like they were going quick on the coverage, and they certainly were. So there was a real battle up front between Inda Congo, Jigsaw, Babylon Berlin's up there. Front page couldn't even lead. They're going that quick, and well judged ride from Opie Bosson, but he put her into the race early. She had to be good to sustain a run, and she was able to do so. Bella Nipotina, beautifully ridden by Ben Mellum. He's had a great weekend. She had her opportunity, but the winner was too good.
Berlin up to Jigsaw, 300 metres to go, a length and a half. Imperatriz getting closer, then came in the Congo, and Bella Nipotina to the outside in the straight. Babylon Berlin has been grabbed by Imperatriz. Bella Nipotina coming at it. Imperatriz, 3/4 of a length in front. The Kiwi and Opie. It's Imperatriz wins it from Bella Nipotina. Rockin' Horse third.
Perhaps underscored the strength of this race, and that there's enough for everyone to sort of go around. That first 4 across the line are Group 1 sprinting mares of renown. Imperatriz, Bella Nipotina, Rockin' Horse and September Run. This is a race that people are going to have to respect and follow.
I think so, yeah. It was a nice debut to the Quokka with the runner-up in Bella Nipotina. That's the plan. And Jane, the winner, is a serious sprinting mare, isn't she? And her record outlines that.
Oh, her record is outstanding in New Zealand. She's won, well, she's now a 5-time Group 1 winner, but she's won from 1,200 metres to a mile. She's won on all different surfaces. She's won from the front. She's won from back in the field. She's very adaptable, and she's just a smart mare. I mean, mass is not my strong point, but her winning strike rate is up around the 60-70%. So she's one out of the box. She is a really smart mare. I think they targeted the right...
The fact that she started $3.60 in a race like that, she was very firm in the market late. And interestingly enough, that was Mark Walker's first Group 1 victory since the J.J. Atkins in 2005 with Darcy Brahma.
Which we actually almost didn't credit him with.
Yeah.
I think the news during the week that was...
Let's have a look at one of the feature races of the day. While we're talking about ability and potential anyway, race 6 here, What You Need up against Benedetta. What You Need clearly dominates the turnover over Benedetta, but Benedetta, high bet.
$500,000 for the 3-year-olds. Glistening last year, Marbusha a couple of years ago, She's So High, Super Cash, Pittsburgh Flyer and Anatina amongst the recent winners. For many, Ben, it's What You Need v Benedetta, and you're with the colt.
I'm indeed. I think if Benedetta...
means everything, and there were 2 horses that wandered around this mounting yard like they'd done at 100.
Day, and it's between the top 2. Over 70% of a very good turnover on a Saturday is between the top 2, and they're outstanding gallopers, these 2 3-year-olds. Watch.
Second, away they go. Renosu jumped well. No speed, Ladonsus Rouge. She dances away pretty well. What You Need out wide is also starting to come across, and also KGB darts through. So KGB is the leader from Arctic Fairy, Lincoln Square, and Benedetta over on the far side. Up the middle, Renosu on the left-hand side in the blue jacket from Lincoln Square. She dances. Then Ladonsus Rouge. Sebenak is behind the pack over on the inside from Tantat Magic Castillion. What You Need has about 5 behind him. They include Grease Lady, Die, and also Wild Bell. Onto the course proper, KGB just in front of Benedetta as they reach the 5, and then Renosu and She Dances up the outside. What You Need about to be called upon, and then a gap in the field. Arctic Fairy, Sebenak and Ladonsus Rouge. It's Renosu just in front of Benedetta over on the far side, and What You Need is now stomping up, and at the clock tower, What You Need, give it his head, goes up to Renosu, Benedetta, then Rich Fortune, but it's What You Need. What You Need comes clear. Nice winner. What You Need from Renosu, Benedetta. She Dances just 4, they'd say, from Rich Fortune, then Lady Die. Back behind them, Wild Bell and Greenfield.
The rebadged Moomba plate, it had prize money attached to it. It got pushed back in the calendar to add something else to the Australian Cup program. Goodness me, it's added something all right, because What You Need, he is very much bound for some bigger targets. We'll find out from Mick Price or Michael Kent Jr.
She looked to be travelling. I think dropping back to 1,100 metres was against her. And when he had to be asked for an effort, What You Need, he really responded. There's that turn of foot. He's shown it in each of his 3 starts now, and it was pretty soft over the concluding stages. Benedetta didn't quite have the same turn of foot back to 1,100 metres, but look at her back through the line. She was really strong. I think that drop back in trip, 5th run, first preparation, was against her. I don't think she lost any admirers yesterday. Through the line, she was terrific. I just think barrier 1 back to 11, 5th run, first preparation were probably the knocks. Renosu ran out of his skin. Winner was pretty soft, though. He goes to an arrow field. I had a look at the market. There's, In Secret's co-favourite with him. She's heading to a TJ, so she's probably not going to run there. If it got to a bog-heavy track, that'd be a bit of an unknown. But at this stage, he looks probably the horse to beat in an arrow field.
Has he profile physical?
Racehorse, you can do anything with him. He's so relaxed. And he's just foolproof. He just travels so sweetly. Sky's the limit for this horse, I think. I think he's got genuine Group 1 ability.
I think that's really going to help him as well when he travels to Sydney.
It is $3 million Group 1 weight for age contest. Last year, Jewess became the 22nd mare and the first since Maccabi Diva in 2005 to win the race for Ed Cummings and Josh Parr. She defeated Think It Over and Spanish Mission. It was Homesman 2 years ago for the Fredmans and Jai McNeil. Horse 1 is Cascadian. He was on the quick backup last year in reverse. He ran 5th in the Australian Cup, then 5th in the All-Star Mile. He comes here off a 2nd in the All-Star Mile to Mr. 63. It moves back to that position in 2023. The 161st Tab Australian Cup, just 3 minutes away.
I think there's two key chances in Nonconformist and Cascadian. Thought the gap between them was too big early. It's tightening up now. The blowout.
Cascadian could be in a tricky position, and I think that's the reason why he's drifting in price, getting out to 380. I think the two roughies that I want to play here are Steinem, and he's a shocker.
The horse that I'm putting on top is the 16 in Virtuous Circle. I just really like the improvement he's made in between runs, and he was finally relaxed in the mouth.
Punters taking on the favourite here, Cascadian, now getting out to 390. We'll start with the 4 next to his name, that is for sure. OK, Nonconformist tightens up into $5, $5.50 now from 6. Campanessa was a good go, $10 into $8.50 after Prowess winning.
They're locked away. The Australian Cup for Tab. They're set at the 2,000 and they're racing. Virtuous Circle away only fairly towards the inner. Smoke and Romans jumped well with Numerian and Bankmore. He's a shocker behind those horses. Then came out wider Steinem with also pounding between horses, getting to about 6th. Bear Story, the bolter on the improved. Nonconformist at this stage is about 3 and 4 deep. Then Campionessa outside of Virtuous Circle at the 1,600. 2 lengths El Patroness, Cascadian, Regal Power, well back beaters to run. Numerian the leader, 3/4 of a length to Smoke and Romans. Bear Story on a limb in that group of horses. Bankmore outside of He's a Shocker. 1 1/4 Nonconformist, 3 wide around Pounding and Virtuous Circle. Then came Steinem as they run past the 1,200 metres. A length away midfield, then Campionessa, Regal Power, El Patroness, a length Cascadian, then Yaffet, Lunar Flare and 2.5 to Emissary. 1,000 metres to go and Bear Story keeps the pressure on out 3 wide outside of Numerian. Smoke and Roman snicks back a length off those. Then
suit him down to the ground. They poured the speed on. They've run just a tick over 2 minutes flat. 2:01.43 in the Australian Cup. And James Cummings wins the race that his brother Ed did 12 months ago with Jewess. New Mellum, 1:7.11 in the feature.
What an Australian Cup day for Ben Mallam. A treble already. He's aboard one of the more exciting gallopers in the country and what you need, and he backs it up with winning the Australian Cup. Class rises to the 4. Cascadian, 2 good vision. He was absolutely bolting in behind Nonconformist and Campionessa. Just needed a gap to come, and when it did, he let rip. Numerian terrific on the speed, not Pounding. What a star he is. He just keeps showing up to every fight and keeps sticking his head out and having a crack. But
one to go with the Doncaster in an Australian Cup. His 3rd Group 1 to go with the Doncaster and all aged. Jane, I'll start with you. The fact that he was on the back up from that slashing 2nd last Saturday in the All-Star Mile, to your eye in the yard yesterday, did he look like the horse that then produced this?
Oh, he looked sensational yesterday in the yard. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Horses that really stood out in the mounting yard yesterday.
Got the race shape to suit?
He did, yes. I was a bit concerned with his lack of early speed and a seemingly lack of pressure on paper that it might not work out for him, although he didn't have to worry about that. There was a lot of pressure on paper. Numerian was going 9 lengths above average the first section. Look, the pressure being poured on here by Bear Story, who was caught wide.
Late. Here's Cascadian right over the top of them up to Numerian. Cascadian. It's the Cummings name again in the Australian Cup. Over the top of Numerian.
So 3/4 of a length margin in the end. Ben, we're just musing watching the replay of the last couple of 100 metres that it looked perilous for points in the straight. In the end, it ended up being relatively soft.
It did, yeah, and he's a very good horse, Cascadian. We were talking off air as well, Jane and I, that Numerian was 2,000 metres, given how hard they went. There's plenty of forgivable performances in the race, but yeah, I think all honours the winner. Numerian was really brave. You know, they've clashed a couple of times at 2,000 metres now, Cascadian's had his measure, but yeah,
great that we got a full field. We can wax lyrical for as long as we want.
He was following the two horses that he thought would take him into the race in Nonconformist and Campionessa. There was just no gap there, and it was only when, if you look at the steward's footage, that Nonconformist moves out a touch and creates this gap of about a horse or a horse and a half and bang, straight through. And you knew once he got the gap, it was all over. But there were some really good... the gap, it was all over. But there were some really good runs in behind, like El Patroness, who was alongside Cascadian, travelling just as well, was held up, got out late. You can see just buried back a couple on the inside of Cascadian, just never, ever got clear air. I think they'll be heading north with El Patroness, maybe towards the Sydney Cup. She's flying.
Just going back to the point you made about James Cummings with Cascadian, I thought it was really interesting that they've now recognised that he's a much better horse going through the pack rather than getting out wide in open spaces. We talk about horses needing space often in races, and that's, you know, the best way to present them, where they get every chance, can build momentum. But Cascadian's a bit of a fighter. He likes to get amongst it. And
it's actually the second best backed runner in the race, but Awesome John is there at $4.20. It has not budged price-wise. The team at Tab pretty keen to cuddle that horse and keep it close to their chest. Full of Sincerity is $4.48 to 6. Major Beer.
Ready now. And they're racing. Coppelson's going to settle last. Major Beals jump well in the centre together with I Know a Star. Osbred Rising Sun settles in third. Stroke of Luck there on the fence from Ain't He Grand. And deep out, Tapildoodledo. On the outside of Awesome John. They're followed then by Getting Back is Full of Sincerity in the early stages. On the outside of Meet Me in Bondi, Coppelson last. So I Know a Star at the halfway mark, and the Tulloch Stakes ensures it's run at a very genuine pace today. It's I Know a Star, 3 lengths clear from Major Beal, 2 off to Awesome John. On the outside of Osbred Rising Sun, then Ain't He Grand, the favourite, back on the fence, Stroke of Luck midfield. Then came Tapildoodledo from Meet Me in Bondi, Full of Sincerity, and Coppelson still the last one, a dozen off the lead. I Know a Star really not giving anything a chance to get into the race at the moment. I Know a Star still 2 in front, 2 Major Beal and Awesome John being nudged along now on the outside of Osbred Rising Sun. Ain't He Grand stoked up. Now Stroke of Luck. Marquand starting to sight the look for the gaps now and has a bit of work in front of him as they go inside the 350. Leader's gone. Major Bill takes the lead from Awesome John. Oh, Stroke of Luck's in a bad traffic jam. Tapildoodledoo coming down the outside. Major Bill being tackled by Awesome John. Tapildoodledoo. Stroke of Luck still fighting for ground. 3 of them in it now. Tapildoodledoo moved up on the outside. Tapildoodledoo from Major Bill. Tapildoodledoo's won the Tulloch. Just beat Major Bill. Then came Awesome John. Full of Sincerity late from 80 grand. Stroke of Luck. What a horror story that was all the way down the straight. I Know a Star dropped out from Osbred Rising Sun, Coppelson and Meet Me in Bondi.
So Tapildoodledoo gets up here for Kerry Taplin, who's got a couple of runners today, including one in the Group 1. She's got a real Sheila Laxon connection. This is an incredible result. And Reece Jones as well. So Major Bill, OK. Awesome John looked to have its chance. And I thought Lizzie on the home might be Full of Sincerity, but I didn't see that coming, Lizzie.
No, I didn't see that coming either, Bruce. And if you were looking at this horse in the yard, you would never have put it on top because it was getting warm, it was on its toes, and that's not what you want to see over the 2,000 metres, but geez.
Is our favourite, and it is the best backed runner in the race. On the second line, we have Roots, and it's the second best backed runner in the race. The Tissue there at $6.50, $15 the open, but it's hovered around that $6.50 mark all day. Mirror Vision at $7 has just been in a point, out a point, in a point. Hasn't really budged from that $7 and $8 mark. Torregine's been a drifter, $18.21 or more the rest. But favourite is a well-supported Statement.
Front the favourite for Joseph O'Brien. $4 the quote. And the gates are back. They're off and racing. Now, Mirror Vision missed the kick a little bit. So did Larkspur Runner. Amraduna came out running and is going to lead from Fine Point. Torregine away well into third. Then came Promise of Success. Mirror Vision is next going forward. More Profit, and a Tissue is last of all. So it's Raduna holding down the front by 3/4 to Fine Point. Toragine third, Mirror Vision goes to fourth, followed then by Promise of Success on the inside of Roots. They're followed further back by the favourite Stapen on the inside of More Secrets. Length and a half to bring the Ransom, followed by Dynasties, then came Argentia from Larkspur Runner, and the last two More Profits on the inside of a Tissue. So Raduna leads at the 5.50 just from Fine Point. Then came Toragine being shoved along. Mirror Vision about to peel off heels. Roots behind. Then came More Secrets. Promise of Success on the rails. And Stapen still gives away a big start as Fine Point moved up. Fine Point tackles Raduna for the lead. 2 lengths away to Roots. Then came Mirror Vision from More Secrets. Stapen not in the hut at the moment. Roots moved up now to Fine Point. And Roots puts the head in front and starts to draw clear. Great go for the Miners, but Roots edges clear with the Emancipation. Tissues come from well back to grab second, just in front of Fine Point. Then Mirror Vision, More Secrets, and Bring the Ransom. They're followed further back by Dynasty. Statement about midfield for More Profits. Raduna weakened out from Larkspur Runner, Jedia, and Toragine was among the tail enders.
So Chris Waller goes 1, 2 and 3. Roots gets a black tight win for the very first time, which surprises me because it felt like she's been there and done that before. And
she didn't have to get too far back. Usually we see her spotting them such a big start, and today she was able to position a lot closer than she has done in the past, and she showed that customer.
It must be a great thrill. She showed a great turn of foot in that final furlong.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it worked out well with all three of them. For fillies to pick up what we call black type, it's a significant deal. It's not all about golden slippers.
It's Chris's third win in the race. He won it back-to-back in 2014 and 2015 with the mighty Catkins, who was a terrific winner.
Yeah, I think a lot will go right with Pavitra. That's why she's my pick of the yard. I think she paraded beautifully. She looked great down in the stalls area. She's a lovely, big, strong mare, and I think that Kembla Grange Classic, a hot horse, Ben.
Hot horse, we're going with Prowess. Red Joe, guessing game. How many times more on Prowess than Pavitra?
3 to 1.
5.5. 5.5 times more on Prowess than there is on Pavitra. 60% of the hold. Big go.
So I was missed it by 2.5. Bruce, the Group 1, what are your thoughts? This looks to be a battle between two. She's a naughty little girl, is Pia Rossa. She's been in...
I do think there's two chances. I'm going to go with Pavitra. As good as Prowess is and as good as the New Zealand form's held up in recent times, that 8 metre strike.
And we're ready now for the Vinery Stud Stakes. Racing now. And a pretty good line out. Pavitra handled the start brilliantly. So did the favourite Prowess, is right there underneath and going forward. Byron Bellaway well in third. Fireburn in that clump, followed by Pierre Rosca, Whiskey Wisdom. Now Soul Choice is staying out very deep on the track. They're followed midfield by So Dazzling. Then came Frankie Me Dad from Infinitive. Called Die settles well back in the field from Polygon. And Stormy Witness is the last one. So Pavitra leads going into the bend. Soul Choice is pushing right around the outside of them, and Soul Choice moves up on the outside with the intent of leading. Does so now at the 1,400 metres by a length and a half on Pavitra. Prowess gets into a great spot, third on the inside of Byron Bell. Then came Whiskey Wisdom on the inside of Fireburn. Witness is the last one. So the Tasmanian Oaks winner. Soul Choice leads at the 1,000 metres by 2 lengths on Pavitra. Prowess in third position, so both the favourites very well positioned as they start the run down the side. Byron Bell with cover on the outside of Whiskey Wisdom. Then Fireburn midfield from Frankie's Mid-Out Infinity. Cool Die is starting a run deeper out. Polygon going up the inside. Parossa between them. Then came So Dazzling, and Stormy Witness is still last of all. 600 metres to run. Soul Choice in front by length to Pavitra. Prowess in third. Byron Bell under pressure. Then Whiskey Wisdom from Fireburn. Infinitive and Cool Die as they flatten for the run home now. And Soul Choice is the leader, but Pavitra's looming large on the outside and a length away to Prowess. It's Pavitra getting the upper hand from Soul Choice, but here comes the Kiwi filly. Prowess is coming home hard, and Prowess moved up now, takes the lead in the Vinery Stud Stakes, and she's a class act, pulling right away Prowess to win it by 3.5 to Pavitra. Third, anyone's guess, Byron Bell, Parossa wide out, Fireburn the inside. And right in the mix there was Polygon and Infinitive. Then came Frankie's Me Dad from Cold Die, Stormy Witness So Dazzling, and Whiskey Wisdom. Prowess.
Prowess, all right. 21 years ago, Roger James brought a good filly to win this race. He's brought an outstanding filly. I mean, that was a run of a champion today. Pavitra, I thought, was good, Lizzie, and Prowess absolutely put her and the rest of them in the shade. Has New Zealand ever had a group quite like they've got right now?
On what she's been able to achieve thus far, this preparation, you've got the legato form, you've got the fact that she's been able to really make a mess of a very, very talented filly in Pavitra, and the way that we saw they went, the better she was going to go.
What a bunch of 3-year-olds they've got, Bruce.
Speaking of good Kiwis, this was a smashing in the Vinery. Won the Karaka 3-year-old. That was the race we saw Legato strung up in traffic and its sole career defeat so far. Then won the Fillies Classic at Group 2 by 5 lengths. Then went to the Bone Crusher, defeating Campionessa, who we saw in the Australian Cup yesterday. Mark Zahra went to Sydney for Gold Trip yesterday. This was a pretty handy reason also to head there as well.
Yeah, well, she took on the older horses in New Zealand and beat them, and then came to Sydney. She was actually all set to go to a derby and in New Zealand or in Oaks in New Zealand, and they just made the decision that 2,400 metres at this point in time wasn't the right fit for her. And Roger James is a very, very good trainer.
Very emotional one too.
He was.
But he's actually not a trainer.
Very emotional one too.
He was.
But he's actually not normally. I found his reaction post-race a huge surprise. This horse obviously means a lot to him. He obviously feels like he's found one out of the box. And if you go back and have a look at the quality of horses that he's had over the years, Roger James, he has trained some outstanding gallopers. So for him to set her apart and say this is potentially one of the best horses I've ever trained gives a little bit of insight into her ability. And I just sort of want to take the opportunity to give a shout out to Rich Hill stud in New Zealand, who's Stan Poisier. He has had an outstanding run. 5 individual Group 1 winners. I think between them they've won 10 Group 1s. We saw Legato come over here and win an Australian Guineas. We've now seen Prowess take out a Vinery. They also had a Group 2 winner on the day in Sydney with Tapildoodledo winning the lead up into the Derby. So he's a sire on the rise, and he's
Our $3.90 favourite and is the best backed runner in the race. But as you guys have touched on, we have a few former Melbourne Cup winners in this race, and one of them in particular has been well backed pretty much from Monday, and that is Vow and Declare, around $8, but went up $15. So there's twice as much money on Montefilia at this stage than Vow and Declare. That said, one opened up $3.60 and one opened 15s. Cleveland at $8.50 now. A good guide there is the Sydney Cup market. They've just been peppering that price all week as well, into $6 for the Sydney Cup. So we're expecting a big Raapo came on Wednesday at Stride. $1 Knight's Order, Raapo and Co at 13 or more. The money for Raapo came on Wednesday at Stride up since an Explosive Jacks.
And then we'll be ready for the Tancred Stakes. Group 1 level, $1.5 million, the 61st running of a class.
And we're ready to go. Gates are back, they're off and racing, and Knight's Orders jumped away really well on the outside of a Raapo. King Frankel very handy together with Sir Lucan, and Stockman not too far away. Bound to clear out deep, is now starting to slide across and look for a spot behind the leading division, where Knight's Order leads initially here from King Frankel and Sir Lucan, 3 wide of the post. Stockman eases in looking for leaders back, and Bound to Clear is slipping in into a terrific position as they turn out of the straight under Raapo, and Montefilia is up in a better than midfield spot. He's led Gold Trip and Explosive Jacks last of all, so Knight's Order rolls down the back, 3/4 of a length in front to Sir Lucan. Stockman very well positioned third in advance of King Frankel. So Tyler Schiller has given King Frankel every possible hope there fourth. Further back to a Raapo, then Bound to Clear. Saracen Knight from the favourite Montefilia. Further back to Cleveland. Salino's doing it tough. 3 wide on the outside of Tappy's lad. Gold Trip is still second last, and Explosive Jack sees them all. They start the run down the side, and Knight's Order keeps up the gallop by a length on Sir Lucan, followed by King Frankel. Frankel and Schiller's pulled out early, and the King gets going a long way from home. King Frankel serving it up now to Knight's Order, and they're both going hard up front now. So Lucan in third from Stockman, followed by Vow de Cleary gets going on the outside of Raapo, and a length and a half further back to Montefilia, being nudged along by Gibbons now as they come around the turn, and Knight's Order is trying to repel that challenge of King Frankel. Knight's Order lifting from King Frankel, 2 lengths away to Sir Lucan, Raapo running on, and then came Montefilia, still 3 off them. King Frankel, Knight's Order, Raapo chiming in, and Montefilia is well wide out. Raapo moved up to King Frankel, Raapo, King Frankel, Montefilia stretching late, Raapo just in front, and Raapo won the Tancred just from Montefilia. Third between Vow de Cleary and King Frankel, and Cleveland whizzing home at the end from Knight's Order. A gap back to Stockman, then came Sir Lucan from Gold Trip, Explosive Jack Salino, and Saracen Knight was last to finish.
What a sensational result. Well, for Bjorn Baker, a training performance with this horse. He's taken a long, long time. But Lizzie, I'm thinking about Rachel King. I'm thinking about Rachel, who today gets her 3rd Group 1 win. A double today on such an important day.
Up, but Rachel King just gave this horse Raapo an absolute peach of a ride. And not only that, Rachel has been on this galloper for a long time. She has partnered him, and she has been able to build up a really good rapport. We know she rides a lot for Bjorn Baker, and it's good to see her getting another Group 1 victory. She will be absolutely over the moon. A great performance. He won the Canberra Cup last time out, and I'm sure Emma is alongside a very...
He's been a great horse. So Jim Clark bought him, and Mark McStay, and this time last year we're hoping to win about a benchmark 70 race. It's worked out well.
He always seems to be the forgotten horse in these races, but his form always stands up. You know, he's winning the Canberra Cup last up, Bjorn. I thought he was just terrific there, and then to come here and put this...
Yeah, no, it's absolute... Well, he travelled beautifully. Rachel got him right. She just puts him in the zone. She really suits with him, so... No, fantastic. Great team of owners. We're going to have some fun.
The Tancred, as mentioned, Mark Zahra had gone for the ride on Gold Trip. He wasn't really a factor in the race yesterday. Mike, you're probably the one to give us the synopsis of this, given you've got a dog in the fight in Cleveland. We'll get to him in a moment, but Raapo gives Rachel King her 3rd Group 1, coming off a Canberra Cup victory.
What a terrific horse Raapo is. I mean, he's tiny, but just tries 110% every time he goes to the races. Was given a peach of a ride by Rachel King. So congratulations to all concerned there. There's a lot of horses here that are probably headed towards the Sydney Cup. I thought Vow de Cleary was strong. King Frankel took off early and made it a genuine staying test from about the 600 metres. And Cleveland, who was probably 2 or 3 lengths behind the main group, was motoring through the line. So I think King Frankel drops to 50 kilos in the Sydney Cup. Cleveland drops to 51. So Gold Trip, who was behind both those horses yesterday, is going to meet them sort of 8-9 kilos worse off at the weights in the Sydney Cup, which makes it very difficult unless the track turns into a complete bog. So I think we've got a fascinating edition of the Sydney Cup coming up in 2 weeks' time.
Happy?
The next few weeks.
Can't the Canberra Cup throw up a winner every now and again? Mugger 2 won it 3 or 4 years ago. We know what he then did in an All-Star Mile 12 months later. Raapo goes there and then does that in a Tancred yesterday. It can be so off-Broadway at times, that meeting, but every now and again it throws...
So we get into the mounting yard for race number 9, the Doncaster Prelude over 1,500 metres. Horse...
We'll get into the Waller runners and go through each of them in terms of the money held as well. So as for our favourite, best backed runner in the race, but is easy with the fluctuations, $2.90 out to $3.70. Waterford is very well backed, $18 to $5. It's getting a little bit costly for punters. That said, just peaked on the run last time out, didn't they? And he might be better for that run. Bandersnatch, $7.50 has been a firmer, but there's not a heap of support with tab fixed odds. Skyman...
And the gates are back there, off and racing, and Worsfold has bungled the start there, a good 3 lengths. And Crosstalk jumped out brilliantly and is looking for a clear lead. Skyman's pretty handy on the rails, and Bandersnatch being sent forward. And Bandersnatch will get up into second. Yonkers goes to third, followed by Skyman. Is pretty well positioned down on the rails inside Diamond, and Riadini caught a bit deep. A length and a half into Wallo parks on the outside of Times Square. Kukaracha was Worsfold, and last of all back with it is Lord Ardmore. So Crosstalk leads them up in the Doncaster Prelude by by 3/4 to Bandersnatch, followed by Yonkers, Riadini deeper out, followed by Skyman and the White Cap back on the rails. Wellwall gets going in advance at Diamond, then Times Square for the back Cuban Real. Deeper out New Mandate, Waterford very deep, Mount Popper back on the fence, they straighten up, and Crosstalk Clark goes full bore now. Bandersnatch looms on the outside, a length and a half away to Wellwall, running on with a lot of purpose. Then came Skyman and Yonkers back to the rails, but Bandersnatch has a good kick. Bandersnatch a length and a half clear, beat off Crosstalk and Wellwall. There's nothing coming, and Bandersnatch is ripping clear for a Doncaster appointment. Bandersnatch beat Wellwall, and third between Crosstalk and Diamond deep out. Then Skyman, followed by Yonkers, and close up Times Square, hitting the line nicely at the end from
Quinton Abdallah having a good day. He won the Emancipation, and importantly, he wins this, and Bandersnatch now does qualify for the Doncaster. The Hawks team get a fourth victory. Lizzie, they won it last.
Strong performance. The second horse has definitely improved. We saw him run in a Golden Eagle, and he didn't have a great deal of luck, but
Wins, defeats Wellwall. Diamond, an absolute eye-catcher. Lizzie's pick of the yard at $4. The place runs third. Crosstalk runs fourth. And the perfect